Is this thing on?
Are you ready, Matt?
You're listening to Box Office Bingers
with Matt Diaz and Ernesto Santos.
Good evening, folks. We have a wonderful evening's entertainment lined up for you.
We know each other. He's a friend from work.
Box Office Bingers.
And the only way that I know how to do it is to find you a bloody good dump.
He's my friend. I don't have friends. I got family. I can do this all day.
You know, if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything.
Hello. I can see your face. So funny. Hello, and welcome to another episode.
Oh, we can keep going.
I'm Box Office Bitches.
Openings aren't the same back then.
Yeah,
They were in my day.
they just don't make them like they
Those
used
kind of
to.
shit. No,
Yeah.
They just don't make the podcast like they used to.
No, they don't. These podcasts nowadays are weird. You gotta
Not
get
even a
them.
There's not even a logo on you.
It's not even a logo. He didn't even say words when he started. He just started doing some weird noises with his mouth.
Crazy. Just god.
All right. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Box Office Binges. I'm your host, Uncle Roger. The OGB, as they call me. The OGBOB.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
Matt,
Hello, everyone. We're having fun here. This is going to be a good episode. I can feel it. Welcome to another episode of Box Office Bingers. Stev is back with us once again. If we're talking about DC, we got to bring Stev on. How you doing, sir?
I am doing good. Thank you all for having me again. It's been a while. I know we've been trying to get this one in the past week and a half, 2 weeks.
Yeah, this is this is a third attempt. Once because it was your fault, and twice the other two were mine.
We're all busy people. We get it.
I got a lot to
All
do. I got many kids.
I got a lot to say.
I got a lot to say.
Busy man.
But I think this is probably
busy man.
I mean, this is probably, Matthew, our most anticipated, at least for me, our most anticipated show of the year. We are finally talking about Superman, the James Gunn film starring David Corenswet, RachelBrosnahan Nicholas Hoult, Skylar Gisondo, Nathan Fillion, Eddie Gathige. Gathige. I probably butchered his name.
I think that's right.
I hope so. Isabel Merced and Anthony Kerrigan, written and directed by James Gunn. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, 2, and 3. The Suicide Squad, creator of Peacemaker and Creature Commandos. Can't wait to have this conversation. There's been, it's
Jesus Christ, the way you just announced that, I thought he was on the show with us. Oh my God.
Well,
is he here?
Ladies and gentlemen, Steph, can you move aside? We have James Gunn here.
James Gunn, thank you.
oh, James, you can come on now.
Yeah, James,
if
you can
only.
come in.
Oh my gosh. We're gonna. There's a lot to say about this film. We've pretty much been calling it from the beginning that this was going to be one of the biggest movies of the year.
Yeah.
It's almost become like a phenomenon, like past Barbie and all that stuff. It's in that kind of realm. Like the memes online about this movie are crazy.
Honestly, I would even say good and bad. I've been seeing both on people. A lot of people have strong opinions either one way or the other that I'm sure we'll talk about later on to this episode. But there's to your point, there's a lot of talk around Superman, and that is honestly good or bad. That's exactly what DC Studios needed for their first movie out the gate. They need people talking about it. They need people seeing it. And I'm sure just because this was the first movie out of DC Studios, they really wanted people. They needed people to see it. And then drove people to the theaters to kind of get. They want to know what this DC universe has in store.
Yeah. Well, their press tour and their marketing campaign have just been top notch on everything.
James Gunn.
They're a part of Wimbledon. Everything's just they have it in every aspect of where everybody's eyes are at the moment.
But James Gunn has to be the king of marketing. First of all,
Oh,
I've never seen
easy.
anybody who's so like I don't want to. What's a good? I can't. What's a good word for it? He's just so engaged online. Like he's
Strategic.
no, he's also like he's very good at interviews. He's very
Mhm.
good at giving like different information and different like I feel like every different
Yes.
source I've gone to, I've gotten a little bit more of tidbit information. There's
Yeah.
like the basic information that's kind of blanket across all interviews, but I feel like every other interview I get like a little tidbit more. I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, that was good. Like, but he didn't talk about that in this other interview, and maybe that's a testament to the reporters who are interviewing him, just making sure, the ones who are asking the right questions. But
Yeah.
he's just like his social media is on fire. You constantly see him where his team is, whoever is replying for him. They're on top of it. Like you can't escape anywhere without looking at Superman. I feel like I've seen mostly positive. I've heard some
Yeah.
negative stuff, but it's like very generic stuff.
Yeah. And stupid shit too. It's like it's gotten so woke. I was like, all right, calm down, Peter.
See, but that
It's
I
gonna be
think that's
fine.
just I
Like,
think that's just internet. When I hear stuff like that,
yeah, and,
like
and that's the thing about it. And and for a good metaphor, it's the monkeys. That's all
yeah,
it
but
is.
it's
The
like
ones that are talking all
exactly,
the shit.
exactly. Like
Yeah.
it's just noise from like people online, internet trolls online. It's
Yeah.
yeah,
You also have a lot of people who are still gun ho about the Snyderverse, and they're like Ben Hell on like making
yeah,
sure this
Like,
movie goes down because they really want Snyderverse to come back. It's like there's a
like
level of expectation that it's just not happening, guys. Like
get
they had
over
its
give it up.
moment.
it.
Give it up.
Yeah,
Give
those
it up.
movies still exist. You can still enjoy those 3 movies. And like they're
Yeah.
good in their own right. Don't get me wrong. At least some of them are,
Yeah.
and some parts of them are. A lot of good stuff come out of Snyderverse, but at the same time, that's that. Now we move on to
Hmm.
something else. Like this is the new DC universe. And I think James Gunn, funny enough, like he is now also the director, writer of this movie, but he's also the CEO of DC Studios. So the
Oh,
fact that he's able to like he's answering basically to no one if he
Hmm.
continues to make more movies in the future. And so this is like a lot of stuff that he wanted to put into it. So like there's a lot of interesting stuff to talk about here with Superman, first film out of DC Studios. Uh as Ernesto says, one of the most anticipated movies that we've been waiting for all year. In addition to myself,
mm,
I'm also really, really looking forward to Fantastic Four First Steps. Uh I've been waiting to
As
see
am
what
I.
Marvel does with the Fantastic Four. I've been wanting to see that for years. So like I'm more of a little bit more of a Marvel fan. So that's one like on the as far as like I'm just like slightly more looking forward for Fantastic Four than I was for Superman. But also they're like neck and neck of these are the 2 biggest movies of the year,
yeah,
and they're coming out within 2 weeks of each other.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
and then it'll be an interesting comparison after seeing both films to kind of
yeah,
compare the state of both studios, one coming out of the gate and
Yeah.
one kind of wanting to like enter this new era of like their part, whatever the next stage of their course correction. This is supposed to be the one that's like, all right, this is the film that's gonna make the stamp. But
Yeah.
yeah, and we're also gonna. I know Kevin Feige also had a really long Variety article. Oh, look, sorry, I believe Kevin Feige had an interview with either Variety or somebody else that I saw on Variety that there was a long uh, article about. He made a lot of comments about where he sees the future of the MCU. So we'll probably Marvel talk is going to be next week. This week we're going to be talking about DC and Superman. But before we do that, Stev, it's been a minute. It's funny enough, believe it or not, it's been almost like 10 months since you've been on
No,
the
it
show.
hasn't.
Yeah, the last time
Oh,
you
on the
were on.
show. I thought we were gonna
Yes,
say
sir.
since we've seen each other. I was like, no, it hasn't.
No. We saw each other a few months ago, but
yes,
for the first, well, no, we've seen each other face to face for the first time, but we
Yeah.
actually had the opportunity a few months ago to go experience Epic Universe for the first time,
yes,
Yeah.
thank you
and
for
that was
that.
the first time the 3 of us were seeing each other like face to face for the first time, all 3 of us, which is weird that we've
It's
been doing this
crazy.
podcast for over 5 years, and yet none of us were in the same room at the same time until just
And
recently.
Matt, what you don't know is that we got so much footage. Ernesto, run the clip.
You can see here, yes, this is a good moment right here.
Freeze frame
This
that. Zoom in.
podcast, forget Superman. This is going to be a play-by-play of our weekend at Epic
Yeah.
Universe.
I've been watching that. I've been watching that Uncle Roger one of me like trying to get a really nice video of like Sunset Boulevard, and I'm just like, and he's like, look at all these wholesome families.
In the video too.
Yeah, just in the background, all you hear is like, look at all these wholesome families.
We gotta go to the bathroom.
Where's the bathroom?
If there's anything that came out of that trip, Uncle Roger will now live forever.
Oh, the best. Yeah.
We're gonna continue bringing him out for the remainder of the show. He's not.
He comes
gonna be
out during
The
certain
good thing
shows.
about Uncle Roger is that we can kind of all get the voice too. So it's like he can cross over. It's like a Disney Channel crossover. You never know where he's gonna show up.
You never know who's gonna pop up.
You're watching Disney.
Corpus Christi 10 o'clock news on this podcast. You can hear it on somebody else's radio.
Oh my god. But how are you, sir? It's been a minute. Yeah, since you've been on the podcast was back when we reviewed Beetlejuice. So it feels like
Oh my
it's
God, it has been
forever
long.
ago. Yeah, it has been a
Wow,
long
that's
time.
been a long time.
You used to make a 2-year visit. What the hell, man?
I know.
I know,
just so
man.
busy
I've
now.
been busy.
Yeah, we know.
Being an adult kind of sucks, y'all. Ugh. But no. I've been super busy. So since we last talked, then I guess let's see what's happened. I resigned from the president and CEO position at the Chamber of Commerce in Sinton, Texas, and I went full time with the YMCA of the Coastal Bend as their new interim CEO. A few weeks ago, we decided that the national organization decided that we probably shouldn't be a Y anymore. We've been fighting and doing all of these different things to make sure it's still there, and honestly, we came up with the decision that it was probably gonna be a great, a good break for us, to kind of be our own thing and turn into something that's a little bit more of a community center that belongs to the city. Not so much like the actual city itself, but like, the community of the city just can come because like we own the building. But so we're in that process right now, and so I went from interim to now, new president and CEO for this new organization that we're creating. And since I was able to let go of one job, I decided to continue to stress myself out, and I have had more time for my own personal business for Adam of Touch of Magic Training and Consulting. So that's been keeping me really busy too because I've gotten some new clients. I've had a lot of requests to do a couple of different panels, for a couple of different cities on men in leadership. So that's been really fun. And then kind of being able to create these other like leadership pockets that I've been kind of joining, and then I'm now working on a year-long capstone project so I can get my certification for tourism because I just finished my last year of travel and tourism college, and then I'm also planning my wedding and my bachelor and bachelorette party, and that's what you missed on Glee.
Oh, that's incredible.
So-
Always keeping yourself busy here, sir.
Yeah,
And also,
yeah.
I think, yeah, you were engaged since the last time you've been on the show, right?
Yeah.
Like, yes,
Yeah, okay, yeah, okay.
Yes.
I mean, you still are engaged, but still, I
yeah,
wasn't sure
yeah.
if that. I wasn't
It's
sure
not
if
a
that.
new one. It's not a new
Yeah,
one. It's not
yeah,
a
no,
new
no, 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 no. I'm not saying it's new. I'm just saying.
Yeah, the
Um,
other one didn't work out, so I got engaged again.
I gotta.
Kinda keep pushing it back. You never know.
But yeah, I was keeping
And
you
I was
both.
just saying, it's actually, it's funny though that you asked that right before you got on the call. I was just telling Ernesto that I have members that will kind of find me and stuff, and they'll be like, "Hey, how's it going?" And they're older, so they don't care. They're gonna say what they want, and they're just like, "You're married yet?" And I was like, "Oh no." They're like, "Well, how long's it gonna be?" And I was like, "Well, like it's October." And they're like, How many more times are you gonna keep pushing it back?" I was like, "I haven't pushed it back once." It's like, Jesus. Like, give me a break.
I mean, what? This is. I mean, you got engaged when? Like last summer,
last at the end of January last year.
end of January last year. Okay, all right. So
Yeah,
like,
it was a long engagement. It really was.
yeah,
But it was because y'all know like our wedding theme is music festival, and we
yeah,
always like to go to festivals, and that's the time of year that festival season tends to like kick off. It's cooler and everything. So when we made that decision like the night that we got engaged, and then she was like we were sitting and we were like at dinner that night to celebrate with like my parents and stuff, and I was like, she's like, so like next year, right? I was like, yeah, next year. I was like, we can't put on a fucking wedding in like 6 months. Like, I'm like, run. So I was like, all right. Yeah, so we just decided that we're like, we know we want to do it in October. We can't do it in that same year. Let's go for next year. It gives us a nice time to kind of plan everything out. I mean, we're really excited too, because I mean, like, sir, you and me, sir, have thrown parties, and you know how I like to just have gatherings, and my family is. So when it comes
Yes.
to this was nothing different. Like, we didn't want to do the full, like, super, super, like, yes, we want everyone to come dressed formal for like the ceremony, but like not super, just like, I don't know, just like traditional. Like, everything's kind of up in the, I'm gonna have a tattoo artist at my wedding. So it's like, so so kind of like that. So just real boho, real kind, I just want to have a party.
Mm.
That's the biggest thing. So we're gonna party.
All right.
Yeah. So we're super pumped about it. And then like all of our stuff is up and going. So the hotels are, up, and my family's starting to book them all. So y'all better book hotels. um I was like, and they're like, we might need to get some more on the block. I was like, who's using them? They're like, the family. I'm like, they live like 10 minutes away.
Yeah.
No, but they want to party too. They're
Yeah.
not going to
They
stay
wanna
at.
party too.
They're
And
not
you
going
know
to stay at
what? My
home.
Yeah, and mom told me the same thing. I was like, did you get a room too? She's like, I am not going to drive a car back home on my son's wedding night. She's like, I'm gonna be fucked up. I was like, all right, girl, hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about. So yeah, we're kind of just doing all that. We still have to. We didn't do like an engagement shoot because our engagement photos were kind of like already cute, and I just, we're fine. But our photographer, the package we bought with him has an engagement shoot, so we're trying to figure that out right now. She threw. I was like, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to go to the beach? Because we live here on the beach. She's like, she was like, I was thinking like we just get really, really dressed up and go to like a whiskey lounge and do like that whole like Sinatra, old school. I was like, ah, God, that's why I'm marrying you. Fuck yes.
All
So
right.
yeah, let's do that. So we're gonna do like a whole kind of like, whiskey
Whiskey night
lounge
vibe.
kind of. Yeah.
Dress up.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah,
like
dress up.
Or like a
Yeah, so
speakeasy kind of.
yeah, like a speakeasy. So we're gonna kind of go that route. But just kind of putting everything, and then my mom, and as you can imagine, my mom is like thrilled. And it's cute. So is my dad's, because I think everybody already knows it's kind of like it ain't gonna be Juju and Helly for a while. So, and the same with Juju when he had a kid. As soon as he had Cruz, we are like, there, shut up, thank you, mom. You now have one. Like, leave us all alone. So like right now, everybody's kind of like, do you want this? Do you want this? I'm like, sure, if you want to get it for me. And they're like, do you want this? And my dad's like, do you want Carnival? I was like, no, I think we're good there, man. I was like, thank you so much, but I think we're good.
That's all right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's been crazy. I too have not gotten much of 8 hours of sleep, or actually, you're getting some right now, so that's good. So,
Yes.
but me on the other hand, I'm like, ooh.
you can sleep. I don't know, like end of October, November, Christmas time. Maybe you can get some holiday sleep in there.
Let me tell you, I already told everybody at work. I was just like, listen, the week that you need me for my that I get married, I was like, don't. They're like, I was like, also the week after, don't. I will work from home for 2 weeks, and they're like, no, that makes sense. I was like, thank you. I can't.
Do
I
you,
can't.
do you have a honeymoon planned?
No, not yet. We're trying to figure out what that actual destination is, because that's the only thing
Okay.
that's on our registry. We only have two things on our registry on our website, so it's just to donate to our couch or donate to our wedding fund. So I mean our honeymoon fund. So because we have everything already.
Yeah. You got
Like
everything you need. Yeah.
like
Yeah,
we just got
that
new
sounds
we
about
just
right.
got new French doors in the back, going outside to the back, and we we just did a kind of little paint upgrade in the kitchen, so it's like we don't need dishes and all of those things. I would be abundantly blessed if anybody got me anything. So, but I'm like, all right, well, what are we gonna really need? I was like, oh, money for our our honeymoon, or
Yeah.
for this brand new couch we'd like.
A trip or a couch. That's what you get.
Yeah.
That's all you really need.
That's
It's very
how you
practical.
know you're an adult. That's
Yeah.
how you know
They're
you're an adult.
you're an adult.
I need a vacation and I need somewhere to sit.
Yeah.
I need to sit down to watch these movies.
Yeah.
Watch these movies. I need to
Oh
upgrade my
man.
couch so my feet can go up.
Never underestimate a good couch.
That's
Never.
never.
And I want a giant like sectional too, because I just want to I just
Just
want to sit in them. I just want to. I want to nest. Basically, is what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say.
King of the
I
castle.
never want to leave this couch again.
King of the castle.
King of the cast.
King of the castle.
I'm glad to hear
Uh,
it, sir. I'm glad everything. I'm excited to party hardy with you in Vegas, and then also the wedding coming up in
Yes.
October.
yes, I'm
Uh,
super
but with
pumped.
but with that, I think we have a small. I'm sorry if a bone pick with you, or just mainly just kind of pick your thoughts on a certain thing.
It's
So
both.
Oh
we
yeah.
a little bit of both, sure. I will give you the benefit of the doubt to give your opinion on it, I guess.
Okay.
Uh, you had reached out to us. We had reviewed a movie called Materialist, and
Mm-hmm.
you were like, "You guys like this movie?" And we're like, "Yeah," and apparently you didn't. So we want to put on the record straight on what's your beef, man.
It's too long.
What?
What is wrong with
It's
you?
too.
Too
The
long.
last 15. I will get.
I'm gonna
Lucy and
put
her
a
to
5 minute
back
timer
me
on
up on
this.
that.
Five
Okay.
minute timer on this.
It's too long. It's just too long. It was
What do you mean
fine.
it's too long?
It's too long. It's 15 minutes too long.
Why?
It's because like
But what
towards the
about the
end, like
story?
after her and Chris when they got together, I'm like, all right, that's fine. I can deal with this ending. And then it kept going.
What do you mean
And
deal
then I'm
with
like,
this ending?
For like 5 more minutes.
What do you mean? They
it was
literally ended with
That
them
was the end
getting
of the
married.
movie.
They got married at the
that's no,
courthouse.
no, I know. Anyways, back it up. Before like the whole before all of the when she got the call about her friend who was assaulted,
Yeah.
it could have ended before that.
It wasn't her friend, it was her client.
Whatever, tomato, tomato.
I mean,
It,
it's a little different.
it was a little bit different, but it's a horrible thing, like it was, but it was also
Yeah.
not really necessary, and also didn't allude to it at all at any point throughout the movie. But that's where that might happen and might go. Like she already got fired from this girl, and then we brought her back all of a sudden because she was, sexually assaulted, which is awful. But also, like, didn't need to be in the movie. And then and then after that happens, this is starting to wrap up, and I'm like, this movie, like, what's happening right now? Like, and so there was just the pacing for me at the end just didn't work for me. And but for the most part, like, I get it. I think we went in because the clips that I saw, even the preview that I saw, I guess maybe I wasn't paying fully attention to it, but it proceeded to be like a romantic comedy. And
Aha!
then
I told you, Ernesto. I told you he thought this movie was gonna be a rom com.
It
and
kind of
I
was
think
though.
It was
it
yes, it
was
was.
no, I'll get yes, it is. You're correct, it is. But it wasn't like rom com. Like you know what I mean?
No,
Like
it was.
It was
and
more.
it
It was
wasn't.
more. There was more. There was some deep dramatic elements, but there was
It
definitely.
was a dramedy more than anything. Like it was
Yes,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll give you
yeah.
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And which I accept it, and I guess maybe I mean, and I guess the majority of that's me on me and Lucy too, because I was just like, I don't like what is, huh?
And maybe it's not what you
And
signed up
then
for. It's not what you because
yeah, and that I would watch it again because A, Papi Pascal, B, all of them, but it was just one of those things where I was just like, I think maybe that's why we went into it that way and why it felt that passionate. I guess at the end, I guess I was over it by the end of it, also too. So and then also, can we be fair? I love the beginning in the sense of like the imagery and then like the symbolism of like showing the first ones that ever got
love.
engaged
Yeah.
and everything, right? But also that was such a quiet opening that I thought it was like a legit A24 horror movie that we were in for a second. And I'm like, wait, what's happening? And then like Lucy's sitting there, and then we see the caveman, and I'm like, um, did we go in the wrong movie? What
Yeah,
is this?
I said this. I said the same thing in the beginning. I will agree with you there. I was like, I'm
I
not.
was like,
I had to double
I
check.
don't
Like, I
know.
think this is the right movie. This
I
doesn't seem
was
like it.
I was
yeah.
locked in from first frame. I thought it was. I fucking loved it. To be honest with you, I fucking love this
But
movie.
you know what? You really do, dude.
No, you don't. I mean, you can listen to
What?
our review
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
if you are also inclined. But we go into it like we go deep pretty. But I
Okay.
just think
It's a great movie.
I think I'll say this. I think she does a great job of showing the different sides of love and what
Mhm.
that can entail. And I think just after doing the research, like she worked as like in one of these what was it like these? What was it, Matt? Like these? It was like a
Like
dating.
matchmaking.
She
Yeah.
worked as like a
Oh, the
matchmaker,
matchmaking.
so
Yeah.
she worked as that. So a lot of that story is coming from her personal experience.
Also, we're familiar with the director as well, Celine Song. So
Yeah.
like
Watch
we
Past
knew what the
Lives.
like she had an Oscar nominated film called Past Lives, which is great,
Which we
which
also
was
reviewed.
also which we also reviewed, which is not a comedy either. So I think we already had that expectation going in there what her style is.
Yeah.
And then what we got was kind of like more or less like we know her style, so we're familiar with it. So like I told Ernesto, I was like, I'm sure a lot of people think this is a lot of people didn't like it because it wasn't a rom com, which
Yeah.
is could have been perceived even by the poster that it could
Well,
have been that, but yeah, we knew it wasn't.
I mean, and I liked it for, like I said, I mean, as it was going, we were like, okay, cool. Like we like, I get it. I understand where the plot and stuff is going. There were just a few other little things too, like the whole Pedro and her, like the way that they broke up very quickly, and like that felt like, I don't know, like it felt like there needed to be a different sense of closure, maybe like a comeback to him and her, and just being like happy. I don't know what it was, but something just felt flat for me. Also, I just couldn't help myself but laugh whenever he's like, because that's the whole thing. Like she finds out that he had knee surgery. Good for you. You have money to do that. Like so it was one of those things where I was just like, okay.
Well, I don't think it was
And then when when
surgery,
he's
but
standing there and then
Yeah.
he's just like, would you still care for me if I was, I was like, absolutely not. Sit down. I was like that was a horrible choice. I was like, God. But no, I'd watch it again. I mean, also like this, like the visually, it was filmed very beautifully. That whole opening scene, like I said, I was confused, but it was beautiful because it's just like all open space, and you're getting all this field and water and just the wilderness. I was like, okay, cool. I was like, I don't know what we're watching right now, but all right.
I think maybe that's just her style of movies. Like I think
Mhm.
I knew going in she's not gonna do like anything she does, it's gonna be more it's all like very deep character driven. All her work. Like
Yeah.
because past lives is the exact same way. It's more like so I think it has elements of that, but it's more of like the character development she gives. And I think like
Yeah.
what she did for Dakota Johnson, like vastly makes up for Madam Web. I think Dakota Johnson did so good in this movie, and like I think her pairing with Chris Evans, I think that they paired really well together. I don't know, it just the movie works for me. I got
yeah,
it.
Yeah.
considering that I feel like both of them have not been on a string of good movies lately. But
And then you have Pedro.
yeah, he's doing fine. Don't worry about
He's
Pedro.
fine. Yeah,
He's all
He's
right.
he's all right. But like as far as like Dakota Johnson and Chris Evans, I feel like the last few movies that they've been in have not been home runs. But I think it also just comes down to when you have a good director,
What
kind
was
of
he
like
in before this?
he was in Ghosted with Ana de Armas. He
Deadpool,
was
Wolverine.
in what's the
Oh,
one
that
that was
was awful.
yeah, the one with the
Oh, the
he was in the Red One with
I did
Dwayne the Rock
I did
Johnson, the
not like
Christmas
him in that
movie.
movie.
Oh, that was awful too.
He was also
The Red
in
Man, the
the
Gray
Gray
Man.
Man
That's what it was.
with directed by the Russo brothers that was on Netflix.
That was
Uh,
fun.
I did
yeah,
not
he
like
played
that.
the villain. I believe it was Ryan Gosling who played the main lead in that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that was a
he's
movie.
been so he's been in a few movies outside of Marvel. But yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else recently, but
Well,
yeah, but regardless, and then Dakota
they
Johnson
can't all be
obviously.
Captain Americas.
Well, that I think that's the thing too. Like I wouldn't say that he got typecasted, but like he's been in other things outside of Marvel, but he made that role so well for himself. Uh, yeah, I just listed the last few. Oh, that's right. He was also in Pain Hustlers, which was actually pretty solid with Emily Blunt. That was on Netflix, and then he was the voice of Buzz Lightyear in the Lightyear film, which was Pixar,
Oh
and
yeah.
that was a kind of a miss from them as well. So, and that was pretty much a good majority of what he was up to before. He was also in Knives Out as well, so that was pretty good too.
Oh, I did
Um,
like that one.
yeah. So anyway, uh, but yeah, I think her as a director was able to kind of get great performances out of them, and we know that they're capable of doing that. We've seen it in other films, but it's been a minute since I feel like we got some great performances out of those two.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, Ernesto and I, we've both raved about it in our review about 2 weeks ago in episode 261. It was a great film. We understood where she was coming from. I think what it comes down to is the expectations of what we were kind of going into. So, like, if you were expecting a different film, you didn't get that, then
Yeah.
obviously, yeah, your reception is a little bit lower
Yeah.
uh, than what we
Yeah.
were expecting. Speaking of expectations, I want to move on to
I already
Jurassic
knew.
World Rebirth. And
Mhm.
Stev, I will be really surprised if you said this was a good movie.
He said he liked
It
it.
was I liked it. It was fun.
Oh my god!
Listen,
What?
I have issues with it. I have a lot of issues with it. There are things that I am giving it because I kept hearing it on the press tour and I kept hearing on it before the film was even released. Was like they wanted to get back to like the whole kind of like first movie, and then I saw multiple interviews where they were saying they're like, "Well, what do you mean by the first movie?" They're like, "For multiple things, horror and pacing and all this other blah 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 blah." And I was reading. I need to find what it is because it just went into real details. So I was like, "Okay, cool." And this is kind of goes to the materialist thing where it's like maybe I enjoyed it a little bit more because I knew that. So with it being more character driven with humans, and then happened to have dinosaurs in it, like the first one was, I was like, "Cool." Like, it works for me. And then I was like, I have this thing where I was like, "Awesome." I like the nod to the river scene from the book because it's my favorite scene out of that entire 2 novels, and
It's the best scene in the movie,
it's
Yeah.
fantastic.
hands down.
Yeah.
It's fantastic, and, like, on like, that's, like, the definition of edge of your seat type stuff, because, like, I felt the way that when
Yeah,
I first read the book, and have y'all read it before?
I've never read it.
No.
no,
If you're an Audible person, listen to it on Audible. It's even more amazing
Mm.
because when you get to the river scene where that's happening, it's even more terrifying in the original novel by Michael Crichton. Because then the raptors are chasing them, and then the T Rex was chasing them on the side of the river for like a while, and would come out of like the trees, and then they would see the T Rex fall, and then that's when like Lex is like, haha, stupid dinosaur, it can't swim. And then in the book, you learn, oh, actually, T Rexes can swim. And then it just starts to, chase them. There's velociraptors still chasing them. Like there was a pack of Dilophosaur that were mating and doing like a mating call, and they kept like spitting at the rafts as well too. So it's like a whole. It was the that whole scene was the basis of the ride. So like you were supposed
yeah,
to,
for the most part.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
So
mean, you said that was like edge of your seat. That was the first time I think I got like even stood up, not stood up, but like
yeah,
was awake
at
in my seat.
attention, yeah,
Yeah, because
yeah,
like the beginning of this movie, like if they say there's character driven, whatever. I knew about the scene prior to watching this movie that they were paying homage to the book. That's one thing,
yeah,
sure. That's honestly the best part of the movie. The second best part was the
yeah,
scene that followed was when they were in the temple. For whatever reason, there's a temple there, and they uh and like the whole bird thing, like the
yeah.
bird dinosaur was trying to get at
And
them,
then
and
he
that was
comes
like
up and he has him in his mouth and everything.
in
Yeah.
mouth, yeah.
Look at all
So
yeah.
like visually, both those scenes were
Yeah.
like great dino action. The rest of this movie was not great. Can you tell
Yeah.
me any of the characters' names? Go. One character.
Absolutely not. I can't.
I can.
Yeah. It's like just Johnny Bailey's because we're obsessed with him. So
But
Henry
what's his
No,
Loomis.
name?
that no, that's his actor's name. His character's name.
Henry Loomis.
Is that his real name? Is that really?
Dr. Henry Loomis. Yeah.
Scarlett Johansson. I think her name was Zora.
Zora Bennett, right?
I don't
Zora
know.
Bennett. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I
you're
will tell
right.
you this.
Henry Loomis.
Oh, because he's related, or he worked under Dr. Grant.
He worked under
He
Dr.
worked
Grant.
under.
Yeah.
That was a very like quick little line there. It's like, well, I worked for Dr. Grant. It's like, oh, he said it. He
And
said the
still like
line.
yeah, like still keeping it in, but that was all that they mentioned from pretty much anything. So I was like,
That's
that's
fair.
cool. I agree with you. Like, and I was telling me and Lucy were talking about this too, because she was like, I was anxious the whole time. That thing was like anxiety inducing. I was like, and that's weird because like that's been the same for I've heard that from some people where they were like, I was on edge the entire time. And I was like, no, I mean, I guess I know where they're all gonna pop out of. Like, I mean, it's a formula. We know how it works.
Yeah.
Like, and then, so I was like, here's the thing I will say. I don't think all this proved is that they made enough money and they're gonna do it again. Like dinosaurs aren't gonna go anywhere. Like we are
Yeah.
forever gonna always have dinosaurs. So whether it's a good movie or a bad movie, the kid in me is still like, I want to go see dinosaurs. And when it's a Jurassic film, those are like the first form of dinosaurs we were ever like introduced to.
Mhm.
Because I mean, it was the most realistic looking one that we had ever seen in our lives. So there's like a nostalgia thing with it too with me. But I do agree with you. I did enjoy Scarlett Johansson as this because she wasn't trying to be a
No.
bitch and she wasn't trying to take control and be like a Laura Croft. I liked it. I thought it worked. And I thought it worked. I'm sick
No.
of I see ScarJo like a tough bitch all the time. I don't
The
care.
scene with her and Mahershala Ali when they're trying to, like, give each other backstory
Oh, connect.
was was awful.
God, I
That
hated that.
I
I hated that.
you
I
can't
hated that.
no, I'm sorry.
Alright.
Th None of these characters were great. They all came in for a paycheck, and you're absolutely right. This is a proof of concept that Universal can do anything with Jurassic World in the title, and
Yeah.
people will still show out because
Yeah.
this movie hold on, let me get the budget real quick because,
Oh, let me get the.
yeah, get the, box office numbers
I
because
knew what you meant. I got you.
yeah, thank you.
You're like,
I'm getting all flustered here.
today, Junior.
Uh,
So angry.
yeah,
This
what
is
is
how
this?
bad it is. It's like, whoa, Matthew. Simmer down now.
Ernesto, get the
Get the fucking graphic. Get the graphic.
get the
I mean, that's
you know
crazy.
the good
I mean, for those who are
Not
watching,
making
you see
fun
it
of me.
already, but I mean, this is crazy money.
Yeah, so it had a
So
budget of $180 million, so pretty, average for a big blockbuster like
uh-huh.
Jurassic World. At the time of this recording, we're probably approaching its third week. Yeah, it's coming in on its third weekend. Actually, we just passed its third weekend. Domestically, it's made 207. Well, before I get to that, it opened to about $92 million, and then at the time of this recording, domestically, it has made 279.2 million. Internationally, 373 with a grand total of $652 million. It
I
easily
mean,
made back its budget, and people love watching dinosaurs. So for Universal, they're like, yeah, people doesn't matter what the
we'll do
story
another
is,
one.
people do another one. Exactly.
I
Yeah.
But Ernesto, what were your thoughts?
And the other thing that happens too. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. You finish your thought, and then I'll go.
Well, what I was gonna say, I mean, also the lead up to this as well. This one was so quick after the last one,
Yep.
and then also in the process of that, we've also gotten Camp Cretaceous and what's the other one?
Chaos Theory.
Chaos Theory. Yes. So it's like we've had like we're constantly being given Jurassic, and not just we're not just be given dinosaurs. We're given Jurassic Park, universe dinosaurs
Mhm.
because those raptors specifically look different than when we see raptors in any other kind of films. That version of the T Rex looks completely specific to the Jurassic universe as like when we see it from anywhere else. So like the Jurassic franchise and that whole thing has its it has its fandom, and it has this is the introduction to dinosaurs for most kids, showing their kids now.
Mhm.
So I think I mean, it just proves that it's going to be there. I agree with you. Whenever I saw it, I was like, after we left, I was like, bet you hope Superman's better. So, um but like I had fun with it because I have fun with dinosaurs. Like I have fun with these big animal movies, and I enjoy Anaconda and Deep Blue Sea and all that
Matt,
all that stupid crap. But and this is just the same. Add in a xenomorph into a dinosaur and I'm fucking game.
Matt, this is his Fast and Furious, and that's just so you
I
Yeah.
guess. I
Because
guess.
Fast and the Furious is stupid as fuck to me.
Yes,
Like-
yes, it is. But when you lean in
See?
and like, I get it. I understand. But I don't know. I feel like Dominion really got a sour taste in my mouth after
Yeah.
it was just not a great movie. I think this is an upgrade to Dominion. And
Yeah.
honestly, if they continue making standalone Jurassic World movies, I think they can probably be better off than trying to like continue off of whatever they started here.
Like an anthology series more so than
Sure.
an actual
It probably could do
sequel.
better then. You just rotate different stars, and then
Yeah.
Exactly.
and then it's like story of the week.
A new mission.
Yeah,
New
yeah.
mission
Yeah.
and everything. Yeah.
Ernesto, what were
Um,
your overall thoughts of the movie?
Okay, so I'll give you. I think there's good. There's a lot of good, and I think that there's a lot of bad. So
mhm,
let me go with the good. I think as a summer blockbuster movie, I think this movie works, and I think that's a
mhm.
testament to the box office numbers. It's a good, like, there's so many good. I think there's so many good movies out. Like it's another. It just works. Like the monsters work. The story's very basic, but it's enough for people to get invested in and enjoy. And it's to me it is. I think I agree with you. It's better than Dominion because Dominion was just like a 2.5 3 hour of like all nostalgia. Like literally the T-Rex walks into the circle and like remakes the
Yeah.
logo. It's like, okay guys, like what are we doing, what are we doing here? So I think in that aspect, I think it was refreshing to get an actual story that, and it doesn't have to do with any of the original people from any of the other movies. Like we got a brief nod that that person existed in the universe, like, and that they have a slight connection to him. I was great. I was like, that's just the amount of nostalgia I want. Like I don't need anything really more than that.
And such a good amount of nostalgia to like make nod to a lot of the things from the first one too. I love that river scene of him like trying to grab the girl through the raft,
Yes.
and it's homage to like the whole jeep, in the middle, and just seeing what's his name, the Rupert Friend's character, like jump, like drive the car over the ledge, and you thought it was going to be kind of like a whole Dennis Nedry type thing, and then so there was like all these little homages. And I was telling Lucy, one of the other things I think that kind of made everybody um just a little bit like, wait, what, was that from the one split second of what we've seen a normal velociraptor look like in this series, then this giant monster flew down and took it away, and that
Mhm.
was it. Everything else has been like a mutant and a new dinosaur we haven't really seen. We saw the T-Rex for like one river scene, and then that was it. And
Yeah.
that's usually like the end. That's the end credit, or that's like the last fight of each of these movies. And then we have a mutant dinosaur that's ginormous and apparently has been in the area the entire time we've been here, but for some reason only shows up at the end of the night. I'm like, he's like, ah, and then nobody even killed anybody, like, or he didn't even, So it was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was like, and now we're home. Look at the dolphins,
Look at the
and I was like, uh,
And I think,
I was like,
and I think,
I was like, also, and then as they were leaving, I leaned over to Lucy. I was like, did we forget about the mosasaur?
You know what we're also like, you say that there's a good story here. I'm not
Hold,
I disagree.
I'm
There isn't
not
one.
done yet, Matthew.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So I think I mean it's very surface level, and I think the action sequences were like they came here to do the mission, they did the thing, they were faced with should we make the money or like give it to humanity, and they made the give it to humanity decision. Like very, like to me, like there I think they're trying to market it towards like the younger, older kid audience. I think that's what this movie feels like it's marketed to. We get this little girl, she finds this cute little dinosaur. It's like that's gonna be a toy. Like as soon as I saw it, and then it kept coming back, and she loved it, and it's like I already saw the marketing. I also felt like the movie had a lot of like product placement. I mean, the whole thing in the beginning with the Snickers bar, the whole
Yeah,
convenience, literally the entire
the
convenience
convenience
store,
store.
like that whole scene. I thought the action sequences were really cool. I mean, when the bird comes up and they're like pulling the rope up and you pan over and you see this thing eating them. I mean, that was a cool setup. I mean, now, however, the story is like not that great, and the characters are not were not that enticing. And also, like they gave us really bad setups. Like, okay, so you're gonna tell me Jonathan Bailey's character fell, I don't know, 500, 600 feet and hit some palm trees and lands in shallow water. And it's like, oh, bitch, you don't have a scratch. You ain't breaking arm. You ain't breaking leg. You're not even limping. Like, the fuck, bitch, are you Superman?
You know, it's funny, we were watching it too. And as we saw him fall. I was like, oh no, someone's gonna save him, and then he just didn't, and then he hit trees and fell. I was like, oh, he's dead.
Yeah,
He's
And then,
which
and
would
then
have
he's
been
like,
like,
I was like,
okay.
absolutely not,
I was-
absolutely
no,
not.
because I'm not done. I'm not done. Because then let's fast forward to the end of the movie. You already know what I'm gonna say. When Marshall Ali, sacrifices himself, and it's like you see the light go out. You go, oh, the monster got him, and then you see the flare go, phew, oh, he made it. It's like pause. Hold on. You gotta tell me this monster
Like right here.
he was getting ready to fuck him up, and then he just puts out the flare, and he goes, fuck it, I'll just leave.
Well, I can't see him anyway.
there you go. I guess I'll turn back around.
Oh god, planets aren't like they used to do. They used to
See?
bright up the whole night sky.
and I think this is where the movie fell for me, because that would have been a great, that to me that would have been a good character moment for Marshall Ali, because the whole thing leading up to him was him, like, he lost somebody and regretting it and not being in their life, and that is what could have been his redeeming moment to sacrifice, like, for
And
But-
then they ruined it.
and then they took it away from us.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This also felt very much like a video game in a sense of like
Yeah.
the story was so structured of like we need
Like
these
levels.
three yes, we need these three individual dinosaur blood, I guess, so we can have this medicine for a cure. But I mean, like, it's like, okay, sure, that's the whole reason why we're doing this, and this person's getting paid a lot of money for privatized. And then you have Jonathan Bailey's character's like, but why only should the rich people have it? It should be for all people. And then for whatever reason, it's Scarlett
Don't speak ill of
Johansson.
Jonathan Bailey.
Calm down. So you're saying that Scarlett Johansson has the say on whether or not we're gonna put it to the people or for privatized, and at the very end of the movie, she's like, "I made my decision." What? What do you mean you made your? It's like it's gonna be for the people. Who? You can throw it away. No one knows you're doing this. Like the person is dead already. Like the person who got you guys over here is dead. He's gone.
But
So
Matt-
what the fuck you talking
but they
about?
wanna
Now
g-
you have to make this all important
Well-
decision. All this shit.
They want to give it to the people. They don't want to just
To
throw it
the
away. They
people.
want to better humanity.
Yeah.
This could cure
What's
heart
wrong with that?
disease for human beings.
And guess
Jesus
where the
Christ, they
payoff
wanna
is?
save lives, you
Nowhere.
cretin?
I know.
The payoff is nowhere. They were not going to get a sequel on them saving humanity.
Did you see
It's
how much?
not happening.
I'm sorry. Did you see how much money they made? I think they might be getting a sequel, Matthew.
I don't think
I don't
they-
think this version is getting a sequel.
But we're gonna get more expansion into this universe, so we gotta see. We
Yes.
better see this fucking technology out there somewhere.
Yeah, I 100% believe that we're getting another Jurassic World movie. That is a given. This movie's on its way toward $1 billion. I'm not sure if it's going to get there, but like it's doing a really good job of like just trucking along, and it'll probably end around the 800 million range, and that's a pretty good deal for Universal and Jurassic World franchise. But I do not know if they want to bring back these characters and expand on this story,
That's
because
true.
for me there wasn't one. Like there
Yeah.
wasn't one at all.
Well,
So like
if
I
anything has-
it's such I think it's such a weak story. And for me personally, we could have shaved off 20 minutes if we would have focused on one or the other. As I do like some of the family aspects
Oh.
of it, and I also don't mind the military, not military, but like the secret co-op. We have to grab this medicine to save, to find a cure for whatever. They were fine separately, but putting them together, oh, hit my mic. Doing that together though, it just expanded the runtime, and the stories felt very separated until they had to come back together so they can both escape from the island. Even the Mosasaur felt very separated, and then they were together, and then they were separated again. I feel like that you should have picked one or the other storyline and just made that a movie. It could have been a breezy 90 minutes of like nonstop action. The fact that we're bouncing back and forth, I just didn't care enough.
My other issues, like with, I felt like the boyfriend, like they started to give him a storyline, and then they gave us this heartwarming moment of like his character development, and then we never fucking revisited it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I feel like they're like, it's just a good surface level like monster movie CGI like,
adventure film. Yeah.
yeah. I think that, I mean, I don't really, I
I
don't.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, I also feel like the most interesting aspect is the stuff that the animated series kind of dives into a little bit more, was that you
Hmm.
gave us the story that dinosaurs are interacting with everyday life. And not
Hmm.
one movie cares to explore that for whatever reason, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
It is right there. And then this movie starts off by saying, "Well, they couldn't survive in our atmosphere or in our ecosystem, so they had to migrate somewhere else to a different island." It's like, God, I'm tired of the islands. Like I don't care anymore because they gave us the same movie again.
Yeah.
Like, once you brought him
Yeah.
back to the island, you gave us the same movie again. Maybe I'm wanting a little bit more than just your average popcorn dinosaur movie, but, like, I'm gonna go watch him every time. That's just it just is what I'm gonna do, but I feel like they have an opportunity to give us some good stories here, and they're just
Yeah.
not doing it.
I would have liked a better exploration. Like we got a little bit of in the beginning where you see that like nobody gives a shit about dinosaurs. Like I would have loved to
No.
see like that movie, like the dinosaurs just hanging out in the city with the fucking graffiti on it. Like I thought that was kind of cool. I would
Yeah,
have preferred to see more of that, of them just
absolutely.
like what's left of them in the everyday city. And like there could have been an adventure film in there. Like it could have been like
Hmm.
poachers hunting like old dinosaurs that are still hidden within the U.S. or and then we need to whatever. It could have been there any plethora of things.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
do you remember the short that they did what, like 7 years ago or something?
Yeah, it
Battle
was
at
awesome.
Big Rock, I think.
It was amazing.
It's amazing, right? I love that idea of I'd be totally okay if the Jurassic franchise went towards becoming a live action show and a series. So then you have stories kind of like that, Battle at Big Rock, and then you have like other smaller, things that, and you're still able to keep the story and or a story in some way, shape, or form, and you still get the dinosaur aspect of it and how it's ruining day to day life, and you don't even have to focus on one family. Each episode is a different family dealing with dinosaurs in everyday
Yeah. So
normality.
with that, we'll quickly give a 5-star rating. Where did this land for you, Steph?
Like a three for me.
Okay, that's probably a lot lower than I thought you were gonna say. Ernesto, what about you?
Yeah, I'm at a 3. I think it's a decent monster movie. Like
Yeah.
I saw it and I'm seeing it again. Like the kids want to see it.
Yeah.
My older boys want to see it, and like, you know what? And I think that's what it is. It's just not. It's geared more towards the younger audience than it is a broader audience. But obviously, it is hitting. It is hitting the broader audience with making the
It
money
is
it's
Hmm.
making.
very much is. I was gonna say a 2.5, but I'll meet you at a 3. It's fine. I have my own gripes with it, but I think it also just goes down to what we were talking about just with materialist was your expectations.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you presented a film that offered that we can give you something new and different from the Jurassic World franchise, and at the end of the day, you gave me, for my opinion, the same. You gave me
Yeah.
the same thing, with less interesting characters,
Mm.
Yeah.
and that way I just didn't care. But they did offer some cool dino action, and I guess if that's what you're there for, then that's where you're there.
Also, can
Um,
we also bring the question up as why the boyfriend had so much pee in him? They haven't eaten or drinking anything. They've been trapped on an island. Why did he need to pee so long? I was like,
so the action can play out behind him, so he can get scared and then pee some more
oh my god, I
because
would
he
have
stopped to
passed
speak,
out.
he stopped urinating, and then the whole action took place, and then he proceeded once they were done,
I was like, Jesus Christ.
and that's comedy, folks. Um, But all right, enough of Jurassic World. Let's talk about a good movie. All right, let's dive into it. We're about to go into our spoiler review of James Gunn's Superman. But before we have that deep dive conversation about it, I kind of want to talk about Superman as a whole. He's been in our uh, kind of cinema history since 1978, right? 78, right? First Superman film, I believe. Yeah, 1978, and I think it's easy to say that James Gunn took a lot of homages from the older Superman
Hmm.
films, and I I just recently watched the first 2. I didn't watch 3 or 4, but for the first time, I watched Superman 1 and 2. So Christopher Reeves got introduced to Christopher Reeves Superman. I believe I watched the first one and the second one before I watched Superman. Yeah, I watched those 2 before I watched Superman. But just very quickly, talking about Christopher Reeves as Superman, as Clark Kent, he does an amazing job of kind of portraying this character as, like, this beacon of hope, and, like, he his performance in both of those movies, and Christopher Reeves, and I having watched them very recently and watching it for the first time, his performance, I should say, still holds up as, like,
Facts.
damn, this guy, like, he is killing it in this role as Superman. And then kind of comparing that to the documentary and giving a lot of context of stuff that I did not know about him as a person, in addition to what he put into this character. But yeah, I think one of the things that was not all prevalent in James Gunn's Superman. I feel like there wasn't a lot of Clark Kent in James Gunn's Superman, but you see a lot of that, like the duality, a little bit in like Christopher Reeve's Superman. So, kind of very quickly before we dive into James Gunn's version, kind of your overall thoughts and opinions on like Christopher Reeves as Superman, and kind of things that maybe were taken into this new movie. Steph, I'll start with you.
Oh, you're asking? Okay, real quick, just to make sure. Like Christopher Reeve's impact on the Superman character overall, and then how it made its way into the new movie.
More or less, yeah.
Okay. I mean, everything that you just said. I mean, it's the truth. One of the things that I thought he brought was like this transformational, like physical transformational thing,
Mhm.
and it's in that for. I mean, it's in that one scene,
Oh
like
my god.
when he's contemplating and telling Lois, right, that he's
Yeah.
actually Superman, and then to see, like, I mean, it's almost like his like head like shifted too, like everything just like went back, and like you see that confidence, and then for him to like in an instant almost like collapse himself right back into like Clark
Hmm.
is just a visual stunning, like actor choice, and just you can tell this man like loved the theater and like loved to
Yeah.
make sure that people believed it.
Hmm.
And so I think, I mean, and then I guess like his Superman as a whole just was very golden age. He was a good boy. He was, he's the Boy Scout, and he helps everybody, cats out of trees and squirrels, as we saw.
How do
And
you feel like it holds up today?
I think it holds up beautifully. I think, I mean, it's I love, I mean, obviously visual effects wise, of course, but I
Sure.
think the beauty of that film is that no matter what the visual effects look like, I've seen some of, my younger cousins, and I've seen other people sitting in the living room watching like Christopher Reeve's Superman, because it's, he pulls you like he pulls you in,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he does this thing where it's like the whole tagline for whenever that movie came out is like, "You'll believe a man can fly." And I think every single time you watch that film, it holds up so well because Chris was able to make this character feel so instantly like relatable and good, and ironically the most powerful being in the universe, but still we feel like, Superman's one of us. And so and I think that that did such a good job coming into this film. And I don't know if you saw an interview with Whoopi Goldberg from The View, that she was interviewing David, and she was like telling him, I found myself annoyed with you, like, and I was getting more and more annoyed with you. And she goes, I was friends with Chris, and her and Robin and Chris were like that really tight knit group, and I think with like Billy Crystal, and so she was like, I was getting annoyed with you, and she goes, and I had to. She goes, then there was a moment where I'm like, oh, you're just being nice, like we are so in this mindset now where people have to have conflict and all this other stuff. She goes, but I forgot that some people do things because they're nice. And she goes, and you were a nice person. She's like, you said good golly at one point and
Yeah,
everything. And
he
he's like,
did.
yeah, yeah. And and that's what, that's kind of what Whoopi was going out of, where she was just like, I've forgotten what it's like for to just expect nice from people. And this is exactly what, this Superman was doing. And it brings it back to Chris. And Chris was kind of that exact thing. He was just there to be good. And I think that's where this whole it works with the whole like the dual dilemma, the dilemma of like, the internal, like you find out what you were really meant to be here for, but do you turn yourself into that, or you just keep doing all the things that you've been doing since you've been here because
Yeah.
that's what you believed for the longest, for all your life. So I mean, there were so many similarities. I thought I felt like a little bit of Brandon Routh in his Superman as well. And from a look aspect, there's some like facial things of Henry Cavill. So it's like I felt like there's a little bit of Superman, a little bit of different Superman in his performance. So, but I mean, I can't get enough of this film. Honestly, I have had so it was literally opening like when you take a comic book off of the shelf and you open it up and it's bam, instant color, and there's already in the middle of a story, and then you're finding out everything that's happening. And I
Yeah.
was like, this was a comic book. I was like, and it was done so well. I was like, and just bravo
Uh,
fucking oh.
Ernesto, was this your first time watching the Christopher Reeves films, or you've seen them before and you're just
Oh,
rewatching them?
Matthew, I grew up
I'm just
watching
asking
this.
asking the
Matthew,
question.
Matthew.
No,
Asking the question.
okay, well, here's the answer. I fucking grew up watching this movie. Like I can't even tell you how many times I've probably watched the Superman movies. But I mean, he's like he embodies Superman to a T. And I'm talking right now. I'm
Mhm.
talking just exclusively about Christopher Reeves. I mean,
Chris.
just letting us know that it's okay to be kind. Like that kindness is is a superpower in itself. It's and that you can
Mhm.
have all these amazing things, but how you treat people and what you do for them is truly what matters.
Mhm.
And that's you get that embodiment in all the movies. And I the reason why these movies still resonate is because I just think he was able to be that person. Like
Yeah.
he was not Christopher Reeves. Like he was Superman. It was like they literally pulled him out of the comic book and put him on screen. Like and that's just that's what just made it so believable. Instead, you spoke to his performance, and I think a lot of it is that theater acting where it's more in your mannerisms and your facial expression and just very subtle excuse me subtle body cues that it's not so deliberate. You can't be you kind of have to these are movies that are meant for you to watch every frame. Like it's not meant for you to be put on as a distraction. Like you can if you fully watch the film from start to finish, like it just you gain so much with every view. And I think it's just a great rewatch every time. I love that. I mean, I love my love for I really love the first two. The third one's it's fine, and then
Three and four get weird.
yeah, and it's fine. But they work. They still hold up. They still work. And then I love that. I guess now that I'm watching as adult, like it's really more of a love story of it.
It
Just really,
really is.
it really is
Oh,
Yeah.
the
always,
love
yeah.
story of him and Lois, and less about
Mhm.
the supernatural challenges he faces. Like when he faces the
Yeah.
outsiders from the General Zod and his soldiers from the Phantom Zone. Like that's a that almost feels like a subplot to him dealing with this dilemma of being Clark versus Superman and what that
Mhm.
means in him and Lois being together, because ultimately he wants all of these things. And like you don't I guess I didn't really look at it like that as a kid. I just thought about it as
Yeah.
Superman like doing these
Yeah.
things. But how amazing is it that I can come back as an adult and I can see this other layer, almost like this entire different film that's there. um
Yeah.
Yeah.
so it was actually refreshing to rewatch these movies.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and me watching them for the first time, it's I for some reason it just never crossed my path. It's like not something that I was maybe really interested in watching it. In the same kind of vein as like we had this conversation 2 years ago when I rewatched all the Batman movies
Hmm.
for more or less the first time, at least from my memory, and
Yeah.
watching them as an adult as we were prepping for the Flash at the time. And like watching these movies, I mean, I'll be honest, the first hour of the first Superman movie was really boring for me. It's I have a kind of a barrier of older style of filmmaking.
Mm.
And in this case, the first half of the first hour of that movie ran extremely slow for me because like we have to see the destruction of Krypton. We have to see him going to going to Earth, and then him with the farm, and then him as a kid, and then his father's surrogate dies, and then eventually he has to go out and become Superman, and then he builds a fortress of solitude, and then all this stuff to eventually get to where I feel like the movie starts in the first Superman movie is like when he's now the Daily Planet being an awful reporter because he's really not good at it. But it's his performance is very endearing. I honestly thought Lois Lane's character was a little bit annoying, but that's here or there. Um, but I will say that once he puts on the suit, though, it like all of that work to get us to the suit, you're like, damn, that like to the point to your pointer, Stev, is like this man can fly. Look at him go. He's
Yeah.
going around saving people left and right. Like, how many bad things can happen in one night? And he's
Yeah.
also introduced himself to the world of Superman. And then you
Mhm.
have you have Gene Hackman as like a kind of a wacky Lex Luthor a little bit,
It's all
and some
very
of like the
golden
things were
age.
kind of cheesy, but at the end of the day, it all worked. And then you go into the sequel, where I think it still continued to be a little bit cheesy, but it was a great sequel, great like follow up to like here's something that we introduced in the first movie, at the beginning of the movie, and we never addressed it again. And then we're bringing it back up of General Zod coming out of the Phantom Zone or whatever it was called. And then we also have the Lois Lane of it all, of him trying to like balance Superman and Clark Kent, and then him trying to preserve his identity. And then also for me, it was very heartbreaking at the end of the movie, end of the second film, when he decides to what's the word? Uh Take away the memory from Lois Lane so he can be like the fact that she knows that he's Superman. To me, that was just kind of a heartbreaking way to end the movie. Because like they've already formed this relationship, they've already had their adventures together in the second movie, and then all of a sudden he's like, for the sake of everyone, it's best that you still don't know who I am. And then he just takes it away, and then the rest moves forward. And because I've heard, not great things about 3 and 4, I feel like the second one just ended so nicely. It's like, I don't need to go back, and I don't need to continue my viewing. I think I'm good right here.
Yeah.
And then also watching the documentary based on your recommendations, Stev, and it was a great documentary. I got to learn more about Christopher Reeves as Superman, his preparation for it, as him as a person, him going through what he went through, and then eventually his passing. It was heartbreaking. Um, but it was also a great documentary of not only was he the embodiment of the character that he brought to the screen, but also outside of the screen, as well. And like he even said, like no one's perfect. You saw all the stuff that he went through in that documentary, but at the end of the day, uh, you know, he's still, a good man. Like he was just trying to help people and
Yeah.
doing what he can. And I think all of that showcases, and even to what you both were saying, is like I think that's why these movies hold up fairly well. Is it's solely because of him. He
Mhm.
brought such energy to this character that we believe that he was two people. Like we believe in that single moment that you just described of him contemplating in the first movie that he's going to tell like Lois Lane that he's Superman. He takes off the glass. He's like Lois, and then he's like,
Mhm.
all right, never mind, it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that whole scene, you're like, damn. And he didn't win an Oscar
It's
for that?
good.
Holy shit.
Mhm.
Like you see why they don't know. Like even
Yeah.
like you saw Clark Kent and then he goes into Superman. It's like, yeah, I mean, he just took off his glasses and changed his hair, but I believe that's two different
Yeah.
people. It's two different people.
For real.
I think even going into like kind of the next phase of Superman films, a couple years later, we have kind of a follow up sequel in Superman Returns. And again, me watching Superman Returns for the first time, that was a fantastic sequel to like
Yeah.
a spiritual sequel to the Christopher Reeves films,
I
because
love it.
I thought Brandon Roth did such a great job of kind of embodying that
Yes.
as well.
Absolutely.
100%. Yeah.
Like he took that character that Christopher Reeves built, and then he expanded upon that for like a newer generation. And like Bryan Singer, who is the director, he's done a lot of not good things in his personal life, but at the time that he's making this movie, he made one hell of a Superman movie. Like Lex Luthor was still kind of wacky in a way, and like again,
But
Kevin
also
Spacey,
scary though. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
but also
also
scary. Also, yeah, the people associated with this movie have not been great. Some of them anyway. But
some
the
of them.
at the yeah, but what they portrayed as these characters, they were believable. And Brandon Roth, he did such a great job of embodying Christopher Reeves, and was truly a great sequel to what was supposed to be a sequel to the Christopher Reeves films.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
but I know that you guys have both had a lot of love for this version of the movie.
I
Oh
just like
yeah,
I think Brandon Routh is a truly underrated Superman. I think that he didn't.
100%.
I think that he should have been given like a fair. He could have been given a fair run of movies because to your point, Matthew, I think that he embodies the spirit of Christopher Reeves in that Superman. Like I totally didn't even question like, oh, that's somebody else. Like no, like you 100% believe that it's the Christopher Reeve Superman that comes back. He just embodies that character from start to finish. Like the kindness, even the difference between Clark and Superman.
Yeah.
That there's that scene where Lois and James Marsden's character
James Marsden.
when he's talking, he starts to put the pieces together. It's like, how long Clark's been gone? Oh, how much
Yeah.
does he weigh? How tall is he? And then they have that moment where they look at him and they go, no, that's not him. And
And then he's like,
huh? Like clumsily, hey guys, hey, hey, I'm Clark. Like, but you know what I mean?
How
Like,
you doing?
like Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
and also like I've been reading a lot of Superman stuff like in preparation for this,
Yeah.
especially like I read For All Seasons, which is kind of details his beginning life. I read the one that the movie's inspired on. It's oh my gosh, it escapes me. It's All-Star Superman, written by Grant
All-Star.
Morrison. Yes, fantastic
Yeah.
series. It kind of that series really humanizes Superman and like just kind of going deep into like these different stories in the lore that I've found that were connected to the film. I felt like all these films really highlight what Superman is really about, and that is that the kindness is the superpower, and that you're plagued with wanting to do best for everybody, but you 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 know you have these people who are against you, like Lex Luthor and so on and
Yeah.
so forth, and kind of dealing with those different things, and like even Henry Cavill,
Mhm.
Man of Steel. I think rewatching this movie, I was like, God damn, this is an underrated movie. Like this is like it's so
Mhm.
good. It's to me, Man of Steel still holds up. A lot of people, it's more of a cynical Superman in a cynical world, but in the movie you still get the feeling that to me I got the underlying feeling of the hopefulness that he gains in the movie. He is more on the cynical side, but in the movie he gains that hopefulness that Superman is supposed to
Yeah.
embody.
But also the same thing with the character. I feel like they've all done really well. Is that I think the other thing they're trying to work towards is their humanity
Yes.
because they're not seen as one. And then this
Yeah.
one did a really good job with that whole monologue to Lex about how he is. And I was like, oh, that's brilliant because that's what everybody's kind of been, or what you've always been trying to prove to everybody is that you have humanity because nobody sees you as a human because
Yeah.
you're an alien flying in the in the sky, but you're still doing good. So maybe if you do so much good, it restores your humanity to the people or whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah, and also like I feel like if I had one gripe to say about Superman Returns is that I guess it's again embodying of the other Christopher Reeves films was that like he came back 5 years later and he's still hung up on Lois Lane. Like he can't like woman's married, has children, and he's like, no, I can still get it.
To be fair, they weren't married.
Yeah.
Wait, they weren't married?
No,
No, they weren't married.
they're
It was
engaged.
a long
Oh.
engagement.
Oh, I see. Okay, I must have misread that. But he was like, yeah, I can still get it. I'm Superman.
And also
I could still
that
smash.
also
Watch
that
me.
baby may be mine.
Yeah, but it is right.
I think
Yeah,
I
it
think
is.
it's
It was
they
his.
never I don't
Well,
do they
because
say it or is it heavily implied?
they don't no, they don't say it. It's heavenly implied because he literally after she whispers in his ear, he goes to the house and talks to the kid saying you will have my powers, you're going to be weird, you're going to be
Yeah,
strange, you're going to have questions. So he goes through this whole thing so he knows that this is his because remember the last Pulitzer that Lois won because this is a direct sequel,
that's why we don't need Superman.
her story, her what? No,
What?
not that one. The one
Oh,
before
My night
the
with
the
Superman.
night I spent with Superman.
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah, so she wrote that like last film or like the 2 films ago. I don't know. But so this is like a direct sequel to this. So they spent like they did have sex, like they slept together. So that's 5 years later, you now have this.
Yeah, but also I'm pretty sure that the kid like flipped the piano over to save his mom.
Oh, that was never said like if it was or was not him,
Yeah.
but
Okay, come on.
Heavily
that was
implied. Heavily implied.
it's heavily implied. They were like, "Oh, all the waves." I was like, "You mean you didn't strap down a piano on a boat? Bullshit."
Yeah, but also she like when they got trapped inside, like she was like, do you want to help mommy open the door?" It's like, come on, like she knew, like there were so many
Yeah,
clues that this was happening.
yeah,
But then, yeah, I think to your point, the nail in the coffin was when Superman came to his room and was like, "People are gonna call you weird, but like just got to keep doing good and all that stuff." Like, I think that was
yeah,
implied. So then at that point, Superman was like, "Yeah, that's my kid. Get away,
Yeah.
James Marsden.
yeah.
You don't belong here. That's my kid."
Well, and see, and I would have loved it because I genuinely, this is Lucy's favorite Superman film. It's probably one of mine as well, just because it does so good. I mean, again, I think he does so well. If you watch any of that CW crap, I would just watch it just to watch his version of the Superman Kingdom Come
Mm.
to come back as this version of Superman. But
Mhm.
it's now in an era where Lois is dead, his kid is dead because the Joker blew up the Daily Planet with laughing gas, and he didn't get there on time, so he's jaded. But I would watch that film too. But also, I would have watched a whole trilogy of Brandon
Yeah,
Routh. Like,
I
Yeah.
agree.
Train His Son in the middle one, and then you got Superboy on the third one.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I don't know why they never continued off of this. I don't know if it was a box
Yeah.
office reason. I mean, it was received critically and like by audience. I looked at the Rotten Tomato score and it's received very well. So it had to be a money thing. The reason why, but
Yeah.
I don't believe that either. But it just seems weird that this was in 2007 and the next time we get Superman was in 2013 with Henry Cavill. So
Yeah.
again, something happened along the way.
Well, which was weird too, because this was in the era of when Batman Begins was kicking off too.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
if
2005.
anything,
Yeah.
right, 2005. So I was like, this is if we're ever going to get a Justice League movie, it's going to be with Christian Bale and Brandon Routh.
Hey, actually, you make a good point. When was just to verify? When was Superman?
Batman
Also,
Begins was
Turned?
2006, wasn't it?
I thought it was.
I think
Oh,
that was
yeah.
2005.
No,
So
no. The
Batman. Okay, so Batman Returns was 2006. Sorry, Superman Returns is 2006. Batman Begins was in 2005. So they came out a
Right
year
after.
Yeah,
after each other.
Yeah.
yeah, 2005,
Uh,
2006. It's just
and so
I
then
would
I
have
guess they were like, hey, we got Nolan doing these Batman movies. We'll just keep pouring money into him, and then like forget about the Superman movie, I guess.
right. I know.
But I'm gonna look it up real quick. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can here's the problem. The movie had a budget of $270 million and it had an opening weekend of 52 and it grossed 391 worldwide.
Mm, yeah.
So it
Oh,
That's
just
why.
just cracked the 400 mil and
what
it
else
almost had a
opened that?
300 mil.
Did anything open with it?
Oh, that's a lot of research, man. Come on, yeah,
Yeah, never mind. It's fine. It's
yeah,
not that
yeah,
important. It's not that
do it.
important.
But I think it was just like I think overall it was such a great movie. It was and also it had a 2.5 hour runtime, which I never felt it was that
Yeah.
long. I think it flowed really nice and
Yeah.
like I do agree. I wish we were able to get more of this. But again, just embodying the character. I didn't get a chance to rewatch Man of Steel, but Henry Cavill did the same thing. I do think it was a little bit darker, and I do credit Zack Snyder
Mhm.
for giving us a different like he didn't put Lex Luthor in there. He went with General Zod. It gave us something a little different than what we're used to. Because Superman Returns went back to Lex Luthor, um, but overall, like I mean, I think so far most of these Superman movies have been pretty good
Yeah.
at holding true to the character, even now going into James Gunn's version.
I will.
Ernesto, you
I was just gonna say one more thing about Man of Steel. Like
yeah,
rewatching it, the scene that hits the hardest is where General Zod's about to burn these people who are in the train station, and Superman has to make the decision. He's like, it's either them or
yeah,
me, and he breaks his neck, and like another moment like where you're relying on not really through the words, but just through his actions, and then you can just feel the whole like the pain that he feels for having to kill like not only like somebody from his own homeworld, like so somebody connected to his past. So but even he just had to just the fact that he had to kill like him dealing with that. He just starts
Mhm.
screaming. I don't know. It's just it's like one of the strongest moments of the film. I just think it like even
Oh
on
yeah.
the rewatch it resonates so well.
Yeah, even going back and rewatching some of these movies, I think at the end of the day, which is kind of crazy to think about it, aside from like if we're just talking about like the first Christopher Reeves Superman, the first like the only Brandon Roth Superman, and then Man of Steel, like Superman and even James Gunn, these movies haven't missed
No.
at all,
No.
which is quite surprising because I feel like there's a lot of contentions on the Supermans and everything. But at the end of the day, going back and rewatching some of these movies, they kind of just they kinda just hit, you know? They're
Yeah,
great
yeah.
films. Like, none of them is really missed. They've all I mean, again, there's Superman 3 and 4, which a lot of people didn't like. I don't really have a say 'cause I didn't watch them, but for the most part, like, most Superman movies that have come out have been pretty solid.
Well, the
And then
char-
say what
the
you want about the
Mhm.
Snyderverse, but, I mean, there's only one true solo Superman movie, and that was Man of Steel.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Um,
they the thing is, I think the character they like who all the creators who've been in charge with it, they've been able to nail why people love this character so much, and I
yeah.
think it was so important. I mean, it just speaks to like going into the James Gunn film as to why it's been so successful. Somebody else who I feel was successful at nailing the character correctly 100%.
Yeah. Alright,
Oh,
well, let's start with you. Let's get
wonderful.
into it. James Gunn Superman.
Whew, well, you want me to start? Or you want Steph to start?
No, you
I
started. I can already tell, sir. I can tell how passionate you are about it. Because I absolutely I adored this film. I adore it. I will have it on repeat when I can purchase it. But I like the amount of contact you have been with us in the past like weeks. It's
yeah,
like,
you're not wrong.
look at this thing that he just did. I was like, look at this thing he just said. Look at this
Look
thing. James Gunn said this, and I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
look,
you know what, bro? I was like, you
Superman
fucking lost
smiled.
it.
Superman smiled in the camera. Look at him. Look at him.
Look at
Look at
him.
him. Look at him. He just
Look
loves
at
it
him.
so much.
He saved a squirrel. He saved a squirrel. I knew he was a good guy. I
I knew he's a good
knew he
guy.
was a good guy.
He saved a squirrel. Look at him. He's saving all human
Well,
life, not just humans. So
But
what a great
you
type of
were
man.
it was
you were your own
funny.
Lois. Like you really were,
I
just because it was
was.
just like, look at all this Superman.
You
And I
know
was like,
why?
dude, I go, he loved it. I go, and I love it because I genuinely loved it too. It was just it was so bright and it was a warm hug. I
I,
needed it.
I feel like I just feel like, and I'm not saying y'all were, but I'm just saying like a lot of people were skeptical, and I feel like I knew in my fucking bones. Like the second I heard that he was doing this movie, I go, this movie's gonna slap. I
Yeah.
don't care what happens. I don't need to hear anything else. Obviously the box office speaks for itself. But
Yeah.
and once again, I felt like we were able to nail the character correctly. This movie embodies everything about what Superman is supposed to be. Like he made me James Gunn made me remember why I love Superman so much. Like I felt like I've been very cynical, very Batman recently, and then you kind of made a good point where the whole I'm David Corenswet being interviewed by Whoopi and like just being nice and like making
Mhm.
this movie made me feel like it's okay to be kind again and not be
Mhm.
not like you don't have to be judged for being too nice. Like he just the film captures like his hope, his idealism, like in our very cynical world, which I think that notion itself just resonates to the story of what's going on in our society. Like there's a reason why this movie is resonating with so many people on just so many different levels. I mean, he mentioned it like he in his interview with Variety, the story of America and an immigrant who embodies kindness, like being grateful for where you are. I loved his optimism. You get the little kid. To me, one of the stronger scenes in the movie is the little kid when he's holding up
Picking him up and everything.
no, when he little kid puts up the flag in the middle of the war zone, like
Oh
kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
like embodying that, like it, like standing up to all this danger, and like, but yet you're sitting there chanting Superman in the face of all this, and kind of getting everybody to join in, and like that moment when Clark is seeing everybody cheer his name, and like another moment where it's not something he says, but the camera just goes to him, and he kind of like gives a little smirk, and then mom gets his boots, and he kind of gets ready, and like I don't know.
Mhm.
Like I just
And to kind of go off of that too, there was like so many small things. I keep referencing the squirrel because the squirrel was so quick, like, and also like just showed how much of a nice guy he is. Like he's in the middle of everything going on, saved a squirrel.
his care for life. Like
And yeah, And then the other small things that I took away too is that we've never really, I mean, we've seen it probably like with Christopher Reeve, but like with seeing him walk at the end of a fight and then all these kids running up to him and he's like, "Hey!" And then he's picking up kids and he's like high-fiving kids and they're like tugging on his, this whole thing. So it was like it was this really cool thing about the first like Christopher Reeve's movie made us believe that a man, could fly. And I think this one kind of brings it back the same way too, but more so it gives us the chance to like believe that there's a superhero somewhere for us that we need for a little bit. And it's kind of, and it's Superman because I mean, as everyone's been nice is the new punk is like the whole thing that's trending
Hmm.
everywhere right now. And
Yeah, kindness is the new
and
punk rock.
kindness is
Punk
punk.
rock.
Yeah, punk rock and all of these different things. So it's like, all right, cool. Like I'm down for a trend of everybody being nice to each other. Like let's do that.
But why not? Like in
Yeah,
this world where everybody just talks shit to each other online and
exactly.
everybody's just so fucking nasty to each other all the time. Like
Hmm.
why can't this be the symbol of us of what we should be to each other? Like
What a great symbol to use.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like what a better and I think like it just like his idealism is infectious. Like and I
Yeah,
think the kid with his eyes closed chanting, Superman, like
Superman.
that
Yeah,
that embodies that moment. Like until the Justice Gang arrives.
not our
um
official name.
not their official name.
What I really liked about this version and the kind of with this whole movie and I do have my issues with some of it, which I'll get into, but the the thing I liked about this particular Superman is that throughout this whole movie, he got his ass beat every single moment. Like I don't Superman, this version in this movie, I feel like up until the end, he did, in my opinion, he never got a win. Like
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
from the moment the movie started, he
tier
got
three.
He's
yeah,
still learning. He's still
and he
learning to
got
be Superman. He's
yeah,
still
he's still
early.
learning. He got his ass beat. The dog's trying to heal him, and then he goes back out there. We have, I'll get to him in a second. We have this Lex Luthor who is just ahead of him every step of the way.
He's petty.
And my man is just getting knocked down every single moment. Lex Luthor has the jump on him in every single turn. But what's great about his performance, the David Corenswet performance, as well as this version of the character, and what it's so endearing to me is that he kept getting up
That's right.
and fighting, and he did not give up whatsoever. And I think this movie did a really good job of showcasing that more than the others because it always felt like in the other movies that Superman, like I'm Superman, like I'm here to save the day, and here's this Superman who can't catch a break. Like
Mhm.
no matter what he's doing, he is constantly getting brought down. But how he gets back up and how he chooses kindness to do that, and like he's always looking out for the best of everybody else. He is the last person he's worried about, and that is what makes this movie just soar.
I
Yeah,
Like
think
you just
and I
love
think
seeing him going through.
I
and
think
I will
that
say this. I think the whole getting beat up and getting his ass whooped every single time is the important thing. Like we always talk about representation, and Superman is stronger than all of us.
Hmm.
But we want to see what happens when someone stronger than us is on the same level of us getting beat down every single time and then like you said choosing to use kindness and still getting up and pulling ourselves up and still going to do what we need to do to get through whatever it is we need to get through. So I mean like as one, yes, there are as far as we know there are no superhumans that are flying around the skies and helping us our day to days. But if we can have one that on the film that does it and then causes a chain reaction to be like, hey, this is 2005's the summer of we're going to be nice to each other and it kind of
Yeah.
just reshifts our culture a little bit again, then hell yeah.
Mm.
Hell yeah, get your ass beat every fucking time and then show us how to get better.
but I think that he embodied that
Hmm.
so well and that in reading there's a book Tom King did Superman Up in the Sky and it's like Superman goes through all these trials and tribulations of getting his ass whooped to find this girl who's lost across space and like there's like one panel where he's in this boxing match and it's like just Like literally, they take all his powers away, and he's just fighting this guy on equal strength. And I feel like the movie kind of showcased that through what you were saying, like that even though Superman's getting his ass whooped, he's never gonna get. He will always get back up and always choose to do the right thing, even if that's not something that you want to do. Like you still just have to do it. And I mean, he shows us that even though he's an alien, he's more human than any of
Mm-hmm.
us.
Yeah.
You know, that speech that he gives to Lex at the very end, kind of just revealing his fallibility. Like, you know, he makes mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you go online, you can literally, that speech is like every three like TikToks or Instagram reels is like
Mm-hmm.
people replaying that speech, and I think
Yeah,
there's a reason for that. I think that it resonates
because
that
we're all doing the same thing.
yeah, we're not so
We're
different.
trying.
Yeah, we're all trying. And I think that it resonated so well. And I love that he gave us a Superman that he can be, because not only did he get beat up, but we get to the scene where Metamorpho is holding him hostage, and they bring Malik, the street vendor.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like,
Oh
to me,
God,
this is like one of
heartbreaking.
the strongest scenes in the film, where he just literally, like, they're talking and he just blows this guy's head off right in front of him, and like literally just watched him execute this guy. And then to have the Lex Luthor just be like, oh, well, I'll just have to beat you somewhere else. Like that, like to
Yeah.
me, that said so much about Lex's character. And then another moment where you see Superman have to deal with this massive loss, because no matter how hard he gets beat, nothing is going to hurt him more than watching a life that he could have saved being taken away. And then so when Metamorpho helps him and he comes back and he smashes that glass, and it's like, that's the scene from the trailer. Even though I've seen that scene in the trailer, I feel like that moment is so well earned. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it really is. And like I was looking up the quote here, and he says at the very end, right here, it says, this is where you've always been wrong about me, Lex. I'm as human as anyone. I love, I get scared, I wake up every morning, and despite not well, I didn't get the whole quote. That's a shame. And basically, yeah, it's like he is embodying that humanity, that like he is as human as anyone else.
Yeah.
And I think that speech is kind of, as a whole, that is what this movie's about. This
Yeah.
is why
Yeah.
this is what we kind of rally behind this Superman. And even in this point of the movie, there was a thing that I wasn't a fan of, which was the uh this misconception, or kind of a twist in the movie, where in the beginning of the movie we have Superman listening to what we find out as Bradley Cooper as Jor-El, and like replaying this message over again. Basically, something that we're familiar with, especially watching all the Superman movies, was like, his parents sent him, Krypton was dying, sent him to Earth, blah blah blah, be kind, be all that stuff. But then later in the movie, we see that this message continued. There was a piece of it that was just not there, or got
It was just,
damaged.
yeah.
And then Lex was able to grab the rest of the footage somewhere deep in there, and then get a longer message of like, we actually want you to kind of rule this earth.
Sleep around.
Yeah, like have many wives and do that. And I just said, whoa,
I know. I
whoa.
was like,
That, to me, I'll ask you guys that question in a second, how you guys felt about that. But to me, that just came out of nowhere. But in the
yeah.
positive angle of it, despite like, there was, at this point in the movie, there were some people who were like against Superman because of that. Like, that speech
Mhm.
went out, and he was like, I'm gonna turn myself in, and the movie continues. But then, despite all that, people were able to still rally behind Superman, and with the flag and everything. And so and then also, to the point of the whole movie, is that it doesn't matter where you came from, it's about who you are, and you're gonna get that kind of reassurance from the farm and everything. But that particular scene of kind of like, I'm not sure if it was needed for us to have, actually, the people of Krypton are actually all assholes. So, like, I don't know. I feel like, to me, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. That if I had to give a negative, there's a few, but to me, that was one of them. What do you guys think about
That one
that?
threw me for a loop as well. You could have said anything. I mean, but it was just like, for it to, and then also for Clark. clearly not saying that's not what it says. Um, was like, oh yeah, it really does say that. So yeah, it felt weird because that's never been a thing that we've dealt with his parents saying stuff like that. Really, like I mean, he's been in situations where the ship or his dad has told him, like, oh well, like you know what, like you're. Take care of yourself. And they're like, no, I gotta help my friend. He's like, no, like, so there's certain things where things have happened like that. But for you to completely say that this being was sent down kind of almost defeats the whole like what you're trying to prove a little bit where you're because it was just like you were sent here to rule over us. It's like, oh well shit. If the proof is in the pudding, then I guess. But so
But
I
I
guess
feel like
it just threw it out. I don't know. It was weird to me. I don't know.
but also like in this film, he never contested it. He was like, "Well, I guess that's what my parents said. Oh well, oh jolly." Like it just felt like
Good
really like
golly.
good golly, like he accepted it very quickly, and there was really no
Yeah.
room for him to kind of fight it or against it. He's like, "Well, I guess I'll just turn myself in," and then the rest of the movie took place. But how do you feel about this scene, Ernesto?
It was fine. Like it was
Really?
fine. It was fine because I think he was giving us a reason to say, well, just because where you're from says that you have to be one way doesn't mean that you have to be that way. You can, and then that also connects to the scene to with his dad, where he tells him like you are your actions. So you don't
Mhm.
have to be this thing that they say you're going to be. So to me, I actually really loved it because it gave us to me it also tied into the whole alien aspect where yeah, you come over here and people are just because you've been told to be this one way, you can still come over and be who you want to be. Like you can be your own person and make your own decisions and decide what man you are. You do who you're going to be. So I
And
mean,
I
to me, it was fine because it kind of just resonated on this level of like him being an alien and not being accepted. And it was just like so. Then now people have a reason to hate him, but still, he in that moment he chooses to be the same person, to choose kindness, to not take it out on people. And imagine being somebody who has so much immense power, but yet you still choose to do the right things. Given like literally, Superman can go and just laser everybody. He can literally take whatever wife he want. Who is going to stop him?
Brightburn.
But he makes the choice as the person who he wants to be to not be that, and that's part of the reason why Lex hates him because he has
yeah.
all this power but he chooses not to use it to advance society or to advance his own agenda. Like he can't understand it.
I agree with everything that you're saying. I just wish it came not in that like it didn't come from this this misunderstood message from his parents because it was also playing on the audience's expectation of we know what this message is. Like we don't have to continue it or it playing off of like, oh, James Gunn put this little nugget here at the beginning of the movie that this message is damaged. I'm sure he's going to find the rest of it and is going to be something even more impactful or emotional for the character. But then at the end of the day, end up just being the complete opposite, and actually is the one that actually destroyed Superman to the public, but also not really because he just came back and did his own thing. And like I never really felt the the what's the word the city's reaction to the news only just based off of the media,
Yeah.
and then he kind of took himself out, and then he came back in to save the world, and then we never really touched upon it again. I feel
Well,
like it was just a plot device to get us from here to here, but not really addressing it as a whole. But I wish there was another avenue that we got to this point. But everything you said of the repercussions of that made sense to me. Like I like all of that, just not that particular part.
yeah, I mean it to me it just made sense. I get it. You know.
Yeah.
Uh, Another aspect I did really like about this movie was the relationship between Lois Lane and Superman.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like
So good.
what we didn't get in the other movies, specifically with the Christopher Reeves films and Superman Returns, we kind of got that a little bit with Man of Steel. But uh, the fact that like Lois Lane and Lois Lane did not know Superman's identity, and so they were kind of play off of that, like they kind of given us the drama. I think when you take all that away, we got something completely different of like, yeah, she knows. Let's move on.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
got that amazing, amazing, like the I think they said it was a 12-minute conversation. One of the longest scenes in the movie, more or less, of them just talking and like Lois Lane interviewing Superman
Mm.
and them having like this genuine conversation back and forth, even like pausing the tape recorder. She's like, you know, I can't say that. It's like that's personal. It's like they were having such like this relation couples conversation while
Tennis match.
a tennis match, thank you, as well as having like this professional-ish conversation. Like, oh, you're on the record here. You know you're on the record, right? And like, you know, you can't. You know, I know you're not going to use this. You know, you can't use this, and blah blah blah. But like, they're having an argument while also having an interview. And I thought seeing their performances and their dynamic in that scene, to me, that sold their relationship for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, it also
Easy.
I also love that in that it gives us that, but it gives us their worldviews and kind of how they see and how different they are,
Yeah.
how differently idealistically they are. Like where, you
Mhm.
know, Clark, Superman is more of the idealist and Lois is the more of the realist. And you can see that in her back and forth and questioning his actions and dealing with the when he invaded that country and you know when he took it when he without even like consulting the US president.
Yeah. Or anybody's president. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, and that's always one of those things that everybody always talks about. Like, I think Batman v Superman explained it well because I remember them listening to like the governor or the senator, and it's like, does the world need a Superman? And it's like, we have one. Like, are we should we be telling him he can and can't help certain things? Does he belong to us? Does he belong to like who does he belong to? It's like, well, nobody
Yeah.
technically. So I think that's always the thing where everybody's always trying to figure out, why everything he is that he is, and hence why Lex is always so pissed and hence, which kind of brings us to Lex, but I just absolutely loved how much of a man baby he was, and it is basically just it was one of the best versions that I've ever seen of this because you're such a giant man maybe, and you're pouting and having a tantrum every time he does something cool or people talk about him. Like that's what was happening, and I was like, I love it. Like I love it. You're so fucking sick.
It's interesting because like Superman shows us that we're not being we can how kind we can be, and then
Mhm.
Lex Luthor is just showing that how petty we can be.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And speaking of Lex Luthor, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor is fucking incredible. Like
Incredible.
Fucking
I
nailed it.
I think I had more fun in certain
Mhm.
aspects of this movie watching him just be Lex than I did watching Superman,
Yeah.
David Corenswet be Superman. Like he was he has to be in control. And I was listening to another podcast, and I think they did a really good job of explaining it. It was like we actually have an unredeemable villain. Some other
Mhm.
movies are like, oh, you kind of understand where he's coming from. He's a relatable villain. Like he's doing the wrong thing, but you kind of see where he's getting at. In this particular case, no, this man has one objective. He hates
Yeah.
Superman and he doesn't care. And he's
Yeah.
an asshole. And he's like, you're never supposed to like him. And he
Yeah.
does such a good job of us hating him. Uh,
Superman.
it's such a great performance. Like between David Cornsweat, Rachel Brosnahan, and Nicholas Hoult,
Mhm.
the three of them did amazing in their
Yeah.
performances. But I love Lex
Incredible.
Luthor. I love like the fact that he was kind of just like calling out like B12, do this. Like he
One
knew.
A, one
Yeah.
A, one
Yeah.
A.
1A. 1A. And I was
Like
just like
but this is a Lex that knows Superman
Mhm.
inside and out. And it was coming to the point where it was like it was brains versus bronze. At least that's what he perceived to be until at the very end, when I guess in some ways Superman was able to play on Lex Luthor's level and was starting to think about it rather than reacting to it. And I think
Mhm.
that was able to give him the leg up and actually finally win because at this point, Lex is just throwing everything in the kitchen sink at him and
Mhm.
he's just trying to fight it off and trying to like, and all the while it's meant for distractions, meant to just see his next move. It was all calculated. And then it wasn't until, Superman was able to kind of get past that. It's like, not only do I need to fight this thing, I also need to try to know his next move or try to outsmart him because that is the
And I think
only
one
way
of
that I'm going to win.
and one of the other things I loved about him too is that he brought in that sense of like how he's horrible and he's not redeemable at all. But when I
Hmm.
see him, I love to hate him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the last one that I had that feeling, I just hate Justin Eisenberg, so I just didn't like that version. But like the last person I loved to hate and also loved for a while was Michael Rosenbaum
Mm.
on his version of Lex on Smallville because he got to have like hallelujah.
He was. I mean, he is. I mean, that
that
man for
that
me is Lex Luthor.
is Lex Luthor, right? So then when this version of Lex comes in with Nicholas Holt, and I was like, oh, like you're like a man baby. I was like, but you're like so incredibly smart, but you just cannot handle that
Hmm.
somebody is better than you. Like you just can't handle it. And and I thought it just played so well. I would love to see in the sequel him and Lois have some dialogue because like these two very
Mm,
strong-minded people would be so much different than Superman pissed off and screaming at his face or then telling him how it is. And then you have somebody like Lois talking to Luthor, like one upping him every single time because she's too is very smart,
yeah,
but he's not like the same kind of smart that she is because she's a journalist and she knows how to rattle these things off. So I'd love to see that as we move forward with this, which is guaranteed we're going to see all these characters again.
yeah. Well, also, you made a good point too about like Superman. In some case, he was very emotional in a lot of his
Hmm.
decisions because once he like when Lex kind of invaded his um
The
what's it called,
fortress,
the solitude, the what is it called,
Fortress of
Fortress of
Solitude.
Solitude. Thank you.
Oh yeah.
uh when he invaded it and then like he was able like he took all of his information, kind of killed all of his robots, and then also took his dog. Well, actually, it wasn't his dog, but we'll get to that in a second. Like, and took his dog. Like, Superman immediately just stormed right in there, and even Lex said, like, "Oh, I'm happy to see we finally get to meet face to face." And so, meaning that's the first time they get to meet each other, but they've been fighting for so long
Mm.
that he
Yeah.
never saw Lex in the first place, and then emotionally, he just
For three
flew
years.
for 3 yeah, and then he flew right in there. He's like, "Where's the dog?" He's like, "What dog are you talking about?" And he just takes a sip of his coffee, like, "You need a dumbass dog with a cape?"
Yeah.
And like he's dating him the whole time. And like again, this the next always ahead of him. And I think that's what I kind of liked. I this is why I love I mean, also with the scene with the revolver, he is ruthless on top of that as well.
That made him like Joker level evil villain
Yeah, which
Yeah.
he
because
is. That's what he is.
because he is, and but we've never seen it. We've always seen him act like a creep. We haven't seen him act a little weird. He wants to build,
Yeah.
Superman Returns. He wants to build land and shit
Yeah.
and kill people. But yeah, Lex Luthor has always talked about killing people, but straight up, and we're like, oh,
Yeah.
and then like Lucy bent over, and I remember Lucy being like, he's awful.
But also on top of that, like, we also see him in a fight because it was I mean,
Yeah,
kind of in a fight, but, like, we see him actually going somewhat toe to toe with Superman, which I feel like the other movies have not done successfully.
yeah,
Like, it was always
brain
like,
over
"Oh,"
brawn.
or he has this master plan that he can't wait to ignite, or using Superman's resources to get the best of him, but actually
Hmm.
fighting him, like, granted, he didn't go toe to
Yeah.
toe directly, but he used a lot of resources to make sure that he beat the shit out of him a lot.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, and even going into that aspect of it, we also had some amazing action set pieces in here, in
Mm.
addition to the Justice, what's it called?
Justice Gang.
The Justice Gang, and their involvement in it, and kind of building out this DC universe that I felt it was very seamless. I know a lot of people online have read that this movie was overstuffed, and I never felt that. I never
No.
felt that it was not a Superman movie. I think James Gunn was just trying to establish that here's Superman, but there's also this is a world that already exists. We're actually very similar to the beginning of the movie. We're just being plopped in to, in a way, this felt like a day in the life of Superman. We got to see
Yeah.
a week's version of Superman. There wasn't like this big, here's this big old origin. Here's
It
like
was a
this
comic book
big,
issue.
Yeah,
It is a
exactly.
movie. It is a movie version of a comic book. You literally pick up the issue,
Yeah.
and guess what? You don't get everybody's fucking origin on every issue. You get introduced to characters. You go, damn, that's a cool character, and you get cool little moments with them. You go, I'm gonna go read who that is, and that's how comic books work. And I feel like the movie
Yeah.
gave us that beautifully.
Yeah,
Also, can we talk? Can we talk about how Jimmy Olsen, for some reason, is a fucking stud in this? I was like, what the fuck is happening? Is he like? Is he like Pete Davidson? He's just dating every hottie in Metropolis right now. Good lord.
it was a fun gag
Yeah.
to kind of come back to every now and then. Also, like because the two ladies that were working the mailroom and they
Yeah.
were kind of just like giving him looks, and he's on the phone, was like staring at me. Anyway,
Yeah.
like I'm trying to do my job here, ladies.
I
Calm
know,
down.
Go.
so hot.
Get
I
out
was
of
like,
here.
what? I was like, what?
And then also,
But I
I
love
think
it.
there's kind of this silliness to some of this movie as well, because at the end of the day, what bested Lex Luthor was selfies and a
An
dog.
ex-lover.
Mm.
An
Yeah.
ex-lover and a flying dog was what
Yeah.
really brought down Lex Luthor at the end of the day. And when
It
I
was a very Loki Hulk moment, wasn't it?
Oh
yes,
yeah.
100%. Like and that was a part of me that at the moment I felt a little bit disappointed because like we had such this great build up, and at the end of the day, all Superman had to do was whistle for his dog to catch all the flying balls that are around him, like catch all the cameras that are around him. Is like that's what really was the linchpin at the end of the day. So the little flying cameras can no longer be in control, or like they're no longer active. So
Well, because
then you have
Ultraman's dumb. That's why.
yes. Well, that's why. But also, was it Ultraman
Yes.
or is
Or
it Bizarro?
well, that's yet to be seen if Ultraman will become Bizarro. I guess we'll
Yeah, I
have
was
to
gonna
see.
say. Well, what if Bizarro comes out of Ultraman because now he knows who he is?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
that's
I
part of
mean,
that.
he technically at the end of the movie he went down a black hole. So I saw a lot of people theorizing that
That's
could
true too.
lead,
He's in the
like
pocket
that could.
dimension.
Sorry, say it again.
But
He's in the
if
pocket
Lex
dimension.
I said, but
Yes.
yeah, well that, and then also if Lex already said he's cloned him once, you think Lex only has one on standby? Like, there's probably
Probably multiples.
he
Yeah.
probably has a couple.
Fair enough. But yeah, when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's kind of like Bizarro in a way. Like there's this dumb clone of Superman. So, but like I think what so in my head, like, yeah, I know you're saying it was Ultraman, but then when it came down to it, it was really Bizarro, in my opinion. Like we thought the movie was led to believe this was Ultraman, but really it was Bizarro. That's kind of where I felt like the story went. But I guess the story can continue from
That's
there.
yet to be seen, Matthew.
Yeah.
You're
To be
exploring.
continued.
Yeah, maybe you're starting to explore some Superman lore now. So
Yeah, I guess so.
Or maybe you're gonna explore some Supergirl lore as well.
mm.
Mm.
Hmm.
But yeah, I felt like I think I've kind of come to terms with it now. But when I remember just watching the movie, I was like, oh, like what bested Lex Luthor? A flying dog, just playing fetch, just trying to grab all the little camera dots anywhere. But I guess
To be fair, Matthew, a flying dog would take anybody out. Did you see that dog?
Yeah, you mean a dog with Kryptonian powers and
Yeah, it would
no
take you out too,
control?
asshole.
Yeah.
Oh, what took Matt out? A flying dog. Can you believe it?
can you believe it?
It's like,
Who'd
oh, it
have-
was a fucking flying dog out of nowhere, and my buddy Matt just fucking smacked across the concrete.
Who'd have thunk?
Well, I think it was also kind of crazy too, is like the relationship with him and Crypto, and like even at the very beginning of the movie, and it was actually a really good callback. I was talking with a friend of mine, and he made a really good point that the movie started and ended with with Superman kind of whistling for Crypto to help him, and it was kind of like a good bookend ish moment for the beginning and end of the movie. And like it kind of gave us some levity too, because like you have this beaten up Superman, and then he whistles for the dog, and he comes over here and he's like, hey, come help me. And you think he's like, here's this obedient dog that's gonna help him, and he's like, nah, bitch, hey, get up, get up. What are you doing on the floor?
Licking babies and everything.
He's like, come on, man. And so like it
He's
kind of
like,
just
"Take
brings
the cape."
yeah, like just do your job. He's like, no, I want to play. What are you talking
Well,
about?
even to the point that like as they're getting stuck into the black hole, he has to grab Crypto's paw
Yeah.
because Crypto didn't do shit. He was just like,
You would think it, and I think that's kind of the funny part now that I'm thinking about it. Like, you think at any moment that he's just gonna learn to just be the hero for Superman,
no,
and
he's awful.
he's never is. But also, let's talk about some of the other characters that were kind of introduced. Do you think that do you personally think it was overstuffed with all the extra superheroes, or do you think it kind of just flowed
Absolutely not.
really nicely?
No. You know, when I think overstuffed films, I think of like Spider-Man 3, like Batman
Yeah.
and Robin, things that have way too many characters, and they were trying to give every single person a full fucking storyline.
Yeah.
And you have this that has a multiple like characters from DC lore that we haven't seen on screen, to a villain and like all of the Daily Planet, staff and staff members we've never seen in the Daily Planet, and it was done so well. We heard people's names, but it wasn't being like, I'm Cat, I'm the one that's in charge of whatever at the Daily Planet, and we're like, nobody gives a shit, Cat. So I thought it's beautifully cast. Like, let's
Yeah.
just say that everybody is just perfectly the exact character they should be for this, and it works so well. And then it's weird that we were able to have what also felt like a lot of different storylines, because you got the Jimmy Olsen with Eve storyline going on, and
Yeah.
then you have your normal, Clark and Lois and Superman and Lois. And then you also now have the Justice Gang, not officially their name, also working with Superman. So they all know each other because they come help out, and they never say, hey, this is how we met or anything. Like, it was just like,
Yeah.
all right, they now know each other. Let's move on with our lives.
Yeah.
And then, oh, here's the Fortress of Solitude. Here's the engineer. This is a baddie. Oh yeah, I injected her with nanites. And let's move on. And I was like, okay. Like,
and we're going.
and we're moving. It's like, now she has powers, and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, I get it. I'm on board with you.
Keep up. Come on.
Keep it up. You gotta keep it up. Like, who's that girl with the blades on her arm?
Doesn't
You gotta
matter.
keep up.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Pay
She's
attention.
part of
It's like, oh, hot girl, she fucking kills people.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding.
She's like, I'm not Superman.
Bye.
Because that's the other thing too. Even though they're in the Justice League, even now, so many Justice League members never ran with the moral code of Superman and Batman.
Correct.
Like, even Wonder Woman didn't run with that code. She killed people if she needs to kill people.
Yeah.
They're like, slice his head off, and she's just like, all right.
All right.
And the
here
boys
we
were
go.
like, no, let's give him a shot.
Ernesto, what are your thoughts on the introduction of these characters?
I mean, I thought it was great. I mean, a lot of people were complaining about Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, but I thought he perfectly displayed the asshole that Guy Gardner is.
Absolutely.
Like
Yeah.
literally the fucking middle
This is
fingers.
awful. They're stupid.
I mean, it was so silly, but damn, it was
It's
funny.
the best.
Like they're fighting, he's like,
It's so
"We're
good.
here." He's fucking chewing gum and like throwing up middle finger constructs, flipping over tanks. I mean, that shit is funny. And then the other ones are just like a hand. Like it's like you fucking.
Yeah.
He's almost like they're like non-existent. Like you flies.
Yeah.
Like that's literally what he's doing to them.
I love it, and I love that whole thing. It's like that haircut should be against your or what was it, your
Your moral code or something.
your
Yeah.
moral code. He's like, the haircut should what?
Yeah.
Should be what?"
And then the whole. Mr. Terrific. What a fucking
God.
standout.
it's just
So there's
fucking terrific.
to me, there's two scenes that stand out. One of them is obviously the fight scene where him and Lois go to try to track down Superman, and he puts her in that little sphere thing, and the music it's almost like the music is playing in the sphere, and you're getting
Yeah.
it from Lois's point of view. So he's got like the music on to calm her, and he's out there just like him and his T spheres just handling business, just taking people out like it's nothing. I mean, it was just a fun scene, very James Gunn style. It was just done very
Yeah.
well. And for me,
It honestly reminded me of Yondu in
Yes.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Oh yeah, the arrow.
with the whistle.
Mhm.
Yep, exactly. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. And the other one, it is just a one line, and it's just he just smushes this guy's face. He's like, "Oh, I'm here to help you." He's like, "I don't need your help. I'm goddamn Mr. Terrific. Get the fuck out of my way!" Like
I fucking love it, dude. I love it.
and
I love
like
it
he
so
smushed his face. Like I just thought it was just so
Need
like
your help?
it worked. And I was listening. I think I may have said it to you guys, but he was doing an interview saying that moment of him doing that to that guy's face, that was actually that was not in the script. That was
Yeah.
unplanned in the moment. They were gonna do another take, and he's like, "I'm gonna smush this guy's face," and he did it. And then apparently, like James called cut, and he's like, "Do it again, do it harder though, like really commit."
Do it harder.
But to me, like so here, that to me, that's a moment where like we don't know anything about this character, but that moment tells me a lot of shit about him. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it tells you like, oh, he don't get, like, he knows who he is, almost like Tony Stark. Like that's who Mr. Terrific reminds me of. And I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought he's a great addition. Like I can't wait to see more of Mr. Terrific.
Yeah, I think
Agreed.
I think for whatever reason, and I think they did it really well too. Like you have the Justice Gang where they were kind of going as a unit, but then you kind of see the selfishness that Hawkgirl and Guy Gardner had. But then you see again talking about his character, he was smart enough to know is like, I know Superman's not in trouble, or I know Superman's in trouble, so I'm gonna go help you, even though they're not gonna go and help you. Like he was, even though he's part of this group, he was able to separate himself and kind of almost be the standout of this movie, of like him helping not only with Lois trying to track Superman, but also like when he was in the pocket. Is the pocket dimension? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like trying to get him out of there. And in addition to when the rift was happening, also helping the city on top of that, while the other members were going out and trying to handle the political conflict that was happening in the movie. So he, even though he was part of it, he felt very separated to kind of the gang itself. And I think to me, he was the highlight of that movie. He was one of the highlights of that movie. And I think to the point of if this movie's being overstuffed, I think that's just a great example of how much it wasn't.
Yeah.
Because it felt like every character had its purpose of being there, not only for the purpose of the film, but which is I think is the main important thing, but also establishes this universe that James Gunn is trying to build. Like he had a lot of work, a lot of heavy lifting
Yeah.
movie, not only of introducing the world to this new version of Superman, and also trying to keep this a Superman story, but also is like, hey, I'm also the CEO of this, this brand new studio, and I have to introduce this world to the people. And I think Ernesto made a really good point of it being like kind of just a page out of a comic book. Like I think the credit to James Gunn writing, it's very quick. You have to keep up. He's trusting the audience can keep up with it without spoon feeding them every origin story for every character,
Correct.
which I think as an audience we've been used to given the Marvel method. I'm not saying it's wrong, but Marvel had the groundwork and kind of it needed those introductions for us as an audience to kind of rally about it. And those introductions give us those Avengers moments, the Avengers end games. It works because we had so much time with these characters. With Superman, there's a lot of groundwork he has to do to get to those big tentpole moments. So you have to establish that this world already exists.
Well, and one of the other things too that goes with the whole idea, this is going to lead to some sort of Justice League film and reboot, obviously. But he's already showcasing it to us of how a Justice team would like actually work together,
Yeah.
and it's actually really respectful because if you think about it, they know Mr. Terrific, his specialties are needed somewhere else on this other thing. We can take care of a monster. Like they're so instantly understanding of like how it is they're supposed to deal with the press, how they're supposed to work together, how they're able to like not be upset if somebody goes help somebody else. So we're already kind of seeing that. So like Superman would just fit in right like really well. And as you build up, you kind of think about comic books and think about like the old Justice League animated show. Like
Mhm.
whenever they would team up to fight, they teamed up to fight. They weren't trying to figure each other out and trying to figure out
Right.
like what's your specialty and what's your whatever. Like we're kind of seeing what James Gunn's Justice League would look like and how it would work as a team and how it's only just going to grow because then you're going to add somebody else in and somebody's going to have to learn how as a team we all do this together, and that's more on the James Gunn aspect of things than just I'm going to do my own thing. And they'll be like, "No, Batman, sorry, you got to work with us."
I think also another character we haven't brought up yet was the cameo of Millie Alcock as the first introduction of Supergirl. We also get this nice fun moment at the end, and I think it was a good distinction to note that this was not a post-credit scene. This was the ending of the movie that actually gave us context
Mm-hmm.
of the movie itself. It wasn't just a random cameo. It
Mhm.
gave us this fun knowledge that like, yeah, this wasn't super this whole time. It wasn't even his fucking dog.
He was just watching
Yeah.
for his cousin.
He was dog sitting this whole
Yeah.
time. And it's kind of funny to think about, like, he's going through all this stuff, and he had this emotional reaction to when the dog was taken away, but yet it was never his. And then we get this drunken Supergirl coming and says, "Hey, Superman, hey, bitch, give me my dog back. I gotta go." And I
You're
think
like,
that was a fun
thanks for watching my dog, bitch. I was
way.
like, oh damn, okay.
I think that was a fun introduction to her, and it kind of just like a great like passing of the torch for the next movie. It
Yeah.
it it kind of in a way reminded me of how fun watching the end credit was for Marvel movies because it gave us a tease of what the next movie was, kind of give us a little taste. And in this case, it wasn't in the form of an end credit scene, but it was actually at the end of a movie, as a kind of a good serving of an ending of a movie, as well as it did both. It gave us context of the movie that we were watching, in addition to here's this character, here's this brief
She's my
introduction, but we're also
cousin.
yeah, she's my cousin, and then you can see her in the next movie that's coming out
Like a comic book.
soon.
Like a comic book.
Like a
Yeah,
fucking comic
exactly.
book.
Like
Like
a
it's
fucking
a
comic
post
book.
credit is actually part of the movie, but it's written in a way that it's connective to that gives you connected to the next thing, but also wraps up this thing because you go, oh, that's not his dog. But then like, oh, then you also get this glimpse of like that moment you get this glimpse of Supergirl. Oh, there's a lot of
Hmm.
shit going on with her. She is completely different. Like she is not
Yeah.
the good old boy that Superman is, and it just sets you up that tonally it's going to be different, and that's something that James Gunn is very adamant about in all his future projects that they will all be completely different. I'll even say with like between even his projects like Peacemaker, Creature Commandos, and Superman are all tonally three completely different projects.
Oh
Even the
yeah.
Suicide Squad.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
and the Suicide Squad. Yeah, absolutely. They're
Yeah,
all completely different, but yet they all work together.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. With that, I know we were talking about the future of DC and what this looks forward to. We have a couple of Elseworld projects in the works. We have a lot of projects in the works from DC Studios. The next one's coming up is going to be Supergirl next
Summer.
July,
Yeah, next year.
Yeah.
next summer. And then we're also getting a Clayface film written by Mike
Hmm.
Flanagan.
Body
I'm
horror.
excited
That
about that.
that is not going to be part of the DC universe. Is going to be an Elseworld project, if I remember correctly.
I don't know.
Is it? I think
I
it's
don't
gonna be
know.
part of
I th-
DC. Yeah, I think it's part of the universe. I think they were going to do another Clayface that for the Elseworld project,
yeah.
but one of the things and one of the reasons he was talking again about all of his movies looking tonally different for
Yeah,
this universe was because they were going to be working on like a body horror film for Clayface.
yeah.
So I think it might be in the universe.
And I think that's the thing with the new Clayface movie and with James Gunn, and again going into the future of the DCU. Like James Gunn is going off of script based projects. And I wonder if, in a way, like we have this version of Superman, right? We here's this story that we're building out, and we know that's probably going to continue off of into Supergirl. But my only fear now is that he's only greenlighting projects that have a good script. And I'm perfectly fine with that like kind of baseline. You want to make sure we have a good story that's going forward. But I think in recent articles he was asked about other projects and there's like, well, the script's not ready yet. The script's not good enough. We're kind of putting this lower in the development because the script's not there yet. At what point he's going to have to start cranking out movies to even satisfy the shareholders and who was investing into the studio. At what point do you have to sacrifice a little bit of story to get the next movie out to kind of move toward something? Or are we just going to continue? Like, how much of world building are we going to get
Mhm.
in favor of leading to like a Justice League movie?
Uh,
Or are we going to abandon that and just only put out like individually ish good stories moving forward?
yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah,
Like
I want
hopefully
that.
to answer your
I love
question.
that.
Yeah, to answer your question, hopefully none. Hopefully there's no sacrifice for story. I'd rather wait to make sure it's ready before you put it out. I'm okay with getting less of better quality than more of oversaturated nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of our big things that we were kind of getting towards. Thank God they kind of like ended the DCU or DCE. What was it before?
DCEU,
Yeah.
DCEU.
DCEU.
Because then we were getting things like Wonder Woman 1984 and then
Yeah,
Aquaman 2 and and then The Flash and all these other things. So you're like, okay. Like I know all the Snyder fans. Like I'm a Snyder fan too. Like we all are, obviously. But let it go.
yeah,
like, like we're in
yeah.
a new era.
And like I said, I'm all for like focusing on story because nothing less. We always go in like especially Ernesto and I, we always go into a movie because we want to see a good story unfold. And when we get disappointed when we go in there expecting a great story, Jurassic World, and then all of a sudden it's just not. It doesn't hold up. And instead, we're compromising it with just like, oh well, at least it was a fun summer movie. It's like, well, we can be a little bit better than a fun summer movie in some cases. Not all movies need to be, but there's a level of expectation going in and out of it. But I'm just curious to see like how if we're only going off of story base and have these great stories, does it matter if we're trying to build a universe or if we're just trying to build good individual stories within this world?
Well,
And
I guess with James though, he's already kind of said that that's his goal is to like he wants them to team up. Like he wants
yeah,
them to interact with each other. He wants them to be, in each other's lives and he goes and that's why, the smart move he's making of making sure that if they're going to be the live action version, they're now going to be the animated voice for all of our
Hmm.
projects because then, the continuity just makes sense because then in animation as we know, the DC animation I think is probably some of the best animation when it comes to comic book animation
Facts.
because they just get it fucking right. Their live actions they may not be able to get right all the time, but their animation on point. So it makes it easier in animation, as we've seen, like some of these Justice League movies on animation, that we might see the Justice League all together before we see them on screen as animated versions,
yeah,
and because we have the voices of everybody now, so you know what I mean. So I think it is meant for both, and I think that's why James is so brilliant at it, is because he's like, all right. This, this is how it's all going to connect, but also no one gives a shit if that's how it all connects. This is a great story. This is a great story. This is a great story. And we don't have to follow a specific timeline. People just are in and out of everyone's lives all the time.
yeah.
And so,
I
just have
and
fun.
I'm kind of rooting for it as well because I do want to see
Hmm.
this work, and I'm curious, like, if we're going to be in a world where like every DC movie is going to hit, and because for a long time they were the opposite, they weren't hitting at all. So like if that's the kind of story we're going forward, I'm just curious, like a couple of years down the line, on when or if these are like, I'm curious, like 5 years later, what a DC universe looks like, and what stories we kinda get out of it, and this is a good first step into it. And then also, in a way, how many films is kinda James Gunn going to, kinda lead the charge? Because he's also the CEO, so I would assume eventually he's gonna have to step back from making film and overseeing others, kinda like a Kevin Feige role.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
I'm curious to see if or when that happens, and also when or if we're gonna get a sequel to Superman. Is this
Hmm.
just the start of that? Like, because it doesn't seem like he's really focusing on sequels either. We just know
Hmm.
that more movies in the DC universe is coming out. So like, oh, I can't wait to see more Superman, but we don't know when that is because there's other projects that he has to start. So again, kind of the in and out version of like, are we going to see this character flying into something else, but
Yeah.
not necessarily a Superman project? Like he could
And
be in
he
Supergirl. We don't know.
Yeah. And he's honestly he probably does have the plan because I remember he's already named all the phases. This is gods and monsters, and they even had it in the opening credits when that first he was
Yeah,
like, "This is the era of God and monsters." So there's so many of these God and monster movies that we're about to have, and then it's like the next one, whatever I forgot what he called it, and then the next one after that. So I mean,
yeah.
it's working towards something,
But it's
but
funny that you
it's
say that because, like,
yeah.
he became CEO about 3 years ago, which is crazy to believe already that
Well,
it's been 3 years since that.
co CEO,
Sorry?
co CEO.
So
It's
yeah, right,
him and
co-CEO.
Peter Safran.
Yes. Yeah, co-CEO, and, so, like, he's developing this plan, but a lot of those projects have yet to like, the first one to come out of it is Superman, and he's already stated, like, "Oh, yeah, Man Thing that I've already announced is it's kind of on hold. We're not landing on the script with James Mangold." I think that what he announced prior, which was a few years ago, I don't think a lot of those projects are coming into full steam because he hasn't seen a good script of it yet. So now like even with Clayface was never part of the original plan, but there was a script that was so good that he had to make this movie. And
Mike
so I
Flanagan.
exactly, and it's Mike Flanagan. So I think for me, the way that I see it so far is just fluid. Like I don't think there is a kind of a maybe a plan, but I think ultimately he's just kind of like I'm waiting for good scripts to come in. We have ideas of what the next movie we want to make, but we also are going off of a better script first. So
Yeah, he's not gonna force it.
exactly. So I'm really curious to see what the DC universe kind of looks like. But I think overall, Superman was a great start.
Oh,
I think that's easy to say.
yeah.
Oh my god, it's everything about it. I can't wait to watch it again.
Yeah.
I saw it um the other day again on IMAX, and
You saw it twice already?
I was saying twice. Yeah.
I've also already seen it twice.
Oh, I've been slacking.
I'm already planning a third viewing because I definitely want to see it one more time before it leaves theaters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, 100%. And then and then crypto. So like, dude, I loved crypto. Like that was such a good. And because the other thing, I think the best thing about this whole thing and why it made the comic aspect of from comic to screen keeps coming back to that reference is because you made crypto work. Like
Yeah.
like it could have been really hokey.
Yeah.
And it worked from the very first scene of the film. Like literally like that's the first thing we see him crashing to earth, and then we see him calling for his dog. And so I was like, yeah, this could have gone real stupid, but it worked the entire time. And you're like, oh, you feel bad for crypto. You're like, oh damn, he's a bad dog. And then you're like, so it was just, I think he did such a great job of giving us every single character and giving the heart that James Gunn gives to everything. I mean, it's like Rocket Raccoon, right? I guess that's why it makes sense because it's James Gunn. Like he knows how to pull the hearts of of humans for animals.
Yeah.
I just think he writes his writing. He's like it's a James Gunn film that just happens to be in the DC universe. Like it's his movie
Yeah.
first. He just makes it believable. Like what if this was a real person?
Yeah. I know. So you said you had some Easter eggs that you wanted to point out.
Oh yeah. So Jerry
So many.
Siegel's grandsons, Michael and James Larson, appear in the Daily Planet extras, and they actually gifted Gunn a signed Superman #1 during filming.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they told him, he got teary eyed when they told him this. He said, "This is the Superman we've been waiting to see. Our grandfather would have been so proud."
Mm.
How fucking that to me that's
Sorry,
amazing.
who's the grandsons again? Sorry,
Michael and James Larson,
the grandchildren of.
Jerry Siegel, the creator of Superman. Yeah. And then apparently on on Lois Lane's desk is a picture of their grandmother who was the inspiration of Lois Lane. So
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool.
And then you even had Will Reeve make an appearance for ABC News as a reporter. So Christopher Reeves.
I missed that one.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the one he's talking about after the big old cute little goblin thing was attacking. He's like, the Justice Gang has arrived, and it's this whole little thing for ABC News because he's an anchor or he's a reporter, I think, for ABC News.
He is a reporter.
That's funny.
Right. Yeah. Oh, also, that's another one too. Like I after I watched Superman, and I know this is like kind of on topic, but off. But he did a documentary called Finding My Father, and he followed his father's footsteps to go whale watching. And it's beautiful. It's like 40 minutes long. So take a look. It's on Hulu.
Another Easter egg that I found that thought that was really cool was I guess there was like some advertisements for like some in-universe company, but in their advertisement, their logo, there was like a bird that like a flock of birds that kind of morph into a plane. And so I guess in the breakdown video that I was watching, it was positioned without really kind of putting it like in your face, but there was it was the logo and it was the bird kind of morphing into a plane, and then Superman comes into frame. And so it's not a bird, it's a plane.
It's a plane. Okay.
Yeah,
I like it.
Oh, that's cool.
I missed that one.
I missed that one.
Yeah. Also, in a very similar sense, you have what's it called? In Superman Returns, you have that funny bit where the Jimmy Olsen character was trying to like take photos of Superman, and they like and it like I think they were able to get like it was like a little girl who had a cell phone and took a photo, like a really
Yeah.
good photo of Superman. And
Oh
then they
yeah.
went to Jimmy Olsen, and it's just like, oh, I have a photo of Superman, and it was just like a little speck in the
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the sky, and they were kind of
Barry's like,
looking at it,
that's
it's
a
like,
bird.
yeah, it's like, is that a bird? And then I think Lois Lane goes like, I think it's a plane, and then
Clark
and then
walks
somebody
in.
said, yes, yes. Then Clark walked in, or I think it's a, and then Clark walks through the door. I was like,
Yeah.
ooh, that's good.
It's a good
That
one.
that's
Yeah.
that's a good one, really good one. But yeah, like there's a lot of fun ones, and I know there's a lot
Yeah.
of like deep nerd stuff in there as
Yeah.
well.
Well, I mean, they also said the whole. I mean, they always cut off like the American thing because since like the last Christopher Reeve, but like
Yeah,
when they were in that round table and they were talking about like truth, justice, and the American way, and like it's like so like they added like these little things that we've known him to be and
Mm.
the things that we always wanted to hear and then we kind of get to hear it and we're like oh shit and it's like oh yeah but it like helps the character, it helps the film.
yeah,
I really like what was the other one like one of the restaurant jitters was jitters mentioned a few
yes, yes,
times, right?
jitters.
And that's like where I think Barry and
Yeah.
them always had get their
Mhm.
coffee from. So there was just so many different little Easter eggs. And then the other thing I was thinking about too is like I thought he was gonna give us almost like a Howard the Duck type of thing. Whenever he took us into the Pocket Universe, into the prison section, I
Oh yeah,
thought we were gonna see some rando DC people like just trapped in these little cubes, and be like, "Is that a Martian Manhunter?" like or
yeah.
like whatever. So, but no, I mean this. I'm obsessed with this film. I
What
really am. I think it's just so
speaking of
good.
which, speaking of which, we haven't even spoken about metamorphosis,
Yeah,
metamorphosis.
Metamorpho. We talked about him a little bit when we talked
Metamorpho.
about
Yeah.
Metamorpho, yeah. I thought
the
he
killing scene.
he was a great character in this movie as well.
Hmm.
Another character that had like its moments to shine. He was like he obviously he was kind of held hostage by Lex, and like he was forced to bring out the kryptonite. But then after that, he was like, well, like my son's in danger. We see why he's doing this, and he's like, if you can help me get my son, I help you get out of here and all that stuff. And like again, another character didn't feel like it was introducing another DC superhero or like another character into this world, but also making it sense in the story. And then it kind of grew his character a little bit more as well. And I think another great addition to it. But yeah, I think to Ernesto's point earlier, it's such a great script that doesn't feel like it feels like everything has a purpose. Like he really took the time to kind of flesh out these characters. But with that, very quickly, I do want to talk about the box office. So this movie is doing extremely well. And this movie did have a highish budget of $225 million. They definitely spared no expense because they really wanted to make sure that this first DC movie was going out of the gate. But at the time of this recording, domestically, this movie opened to 125 million, so a pretty good start. Domestically, at the time of this recording, 243.1 million domestically, 173.1 million dollars internationally. So it's not doing as good internationally as it is domestically, and then a worldwide gross of 416.2 million. So we're already crossing it's already made back its money and it's already doubled it. So we're definitely going into the profit margins on this film. So I think they're kind of all congratulating themselves on that. I am a little bit worried though that the with the release of the Fantastic Four coming out this weekend, how this movie is going to hold up with now two big budget superhero movies kind of in the theaters at the same time. And so I'm curious to see if this can hold, if Superman's like can hold like it's like if it can reach 500 million. I think it easily will.
Oh
But
yeah.
like how much more money can it
Oh
get
yeah.
with
I think you're
now
right. I
this
think I
couple
think
movies?
I think Fantastic Four is going to be a little bit of a block for them because I mean everybody's excited for that one. I mean
Yeah.
that one's gonna be huge. But I mean you never know. I mean honestly, even if it did, even if it does, it's gonna hit that 500 million mark. They doubled their money. I mean that's a win for
I don't.
the yeah.
I don't know the exact number, but I thought I read somewhere that it's already done more than the Thunderbolts run and like
Hmm.
every DC project ever ever made, or
Yeah.
something like there was some kind of statistic that that came out about that, and I just thought it was, I mean, the movie's only been out for 11 days, and
Yeah.
it's already at
Yeah.
$416 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, to your point, this movie has already outdone Thunderbolts in the entire run. Thunderbolts ended at a worldwide gross of 382.1 million. So yeah, I mean, within a couple of days, Superman's already outpaced it. So I think as far as like a summer movie, it's doing extremely well. I almost wondered if they thought it was going to be a little bit better if like everybody wants to go see this movie. I expected a little bit of a higher, like this is still impressive numbers. I'm not doubting this. I'm not knocking it down. I expected it to be just a little bit higher than what it is. Like at this stage of the game, I thought it was already going to be a 500 million on its way to a billion. But at this stage, we're probably most likely going to start ending its run anywhere between maybe 600 mil, I think, at the end of the day, which is a great turnout for DC Studios, and a good starting point to like get the ball moving on this.
Hmm. Also,
Um,
what a busy ass July in
Yeah,
yeah,
films. Like I mean, I have been at the theater every week,
yeah,
welcome
literally.
to our world.
Yeah, I went Jurassic and then Superman and then I Know What You Did Last Summer. Don't waste your fucking money. And
yeah,
Wasn't planning on.
yeah. I wasn't planning on it.
Yeah.
jeez, Jesus Christ. I thought, I mean, like, just make it fun. Ugh, not even that. Um, and then
And then
Fantastic Four. It's just, ugh,
for more or less, I think Fantastic Four is kind of closing out like the big movies of the summer.
yeah,
I think August is kind of like light. Is not like there's not like a lot of temple movies in August, but like Fantastic Four is the last big movie. So
yeah.
I'm extremely curious how that's going to work out for them. But
That's a mine.
with that, Stev, your final thoughts on Superman as well as your
Oh,
5-star rating.
it is a feel good movie. It is a comic book ripped from the pages. Everybody, it is a beautifully stacked and beautifully casted, ensemble. The music is fantastic. That
Mm,
reworking with just the electric guitar is just it's beautiful. It's 10 out of 10 for me. Like, I mean, it was done so well. I would, with the moment it's available, it's going to be on my TV.
Ernesto, what about you?
uh, I mean, I think you know.
I know.
This movie's clearly a 5 out of 5 for me. This movie's amazing. I loved it. It's everything I wanted it to be and more. It reminded me of why I love Superman as a character so much, and like it's inspired me to go and reread some of the old comics and just kind of dive more into that lore. Like I've been like I love Batman. Batman will always be near and dear to my heart, but like Steph and I, like this is a character that we literally bonded over. Like
Yeah.
like our college program, we watched all Smallville together when we lived
Yeah.
together. We finished the series together living in our apartment. So like this, I don't know, this character means this movie reminded me why I cared about this character so much, and
Yeah.
I appreciate what James Gunn was able to create for us, and what this is going to mean for the DCU moving forward. I'm also very curious on what the outcome of, like, you know, Marvel versus DC, Fantastic Four versus Superman, what that conversation is going to look like. So, I mean, it's great to have so many great movies. We've gotten a lot of great movies this year, and I'm just glad to add this one to that conversation.
Yeah, I know we were all kind of,
Absolutely.
I know we were kind of all nervous of like, can this work? And I think to your point, we trust in our creators, and James Gunn has proven time and time again he knows what he's doing in the superhero world. And so I think, and in a way, I think we were kind of like, oh, he's in safe hands.
I think, in additionally, just to add, I think he may be the greatest comic book movie director ever.
Yeah,
At
I mean,
least for
obviously Warner
today.
Brothers knew that because they gave him a whole studio to run.
Yeah, he knows what he
Seriously.
clearly knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
Disney's just kicking their ass.
Like, damn it.
God
yeah,
damn it.
yeah, they really are. Yeah, I think kind of leaving. It's been a weird, interesting process since I'm not like too like not familiar, but like too attached to the Superman character. And also, like, I grew up with I'm a more of a Marvel kid than I am a DC, but I always appreciate and like respected DC for all the stuff that they did. When I walked out of that movie, I said it was a 4 for me. Like, it was a 4. As I thought about it some more, there's a couple of breakdown videos, kind of like digesting all the stuff that you kind of came into. The stuff that I kind of walked in out with the problems that I was having with this movie, like I kind of like just put them aside. And I was like, you know what, 4.5. Like, you know what, it's a pretty good movie. After this conversation, I can bump it to a 5 out of 5. Like there was like
Wow.
there,
He did that for me, by the way.
I
I
did,
know I know he did.
it makes it easier in the social media.
You know what's funny? You would have put a 4.5, and I would have commented an addendum that it's Matt's 4.5. That I will clearly give it a 5. That would be the first like top comment, highlighted comment, pinned to the top.
Like,
Uh,
stop lying. Give it a 5.
Wrong.
Yeah, that's exactly what Steph said when we reviewed Materialist. He's like, 5 out of 5, get out of here. What are you
Get the
talking
fuck
about?
outta here.
That
I thought
one.
it was a horror film. I thought I was watching The Quiet Place when it started.
But yeah, I think some of the problems that I had with this movie was kind of leaning into expectations
Mm.
of what I thought. Like I said, I had a little bit of gripe with the like kind of the parents angle of it. I think there was a little bit getting used to because we were just kind of thrown into a situation a lot that James Gunn is asking its audience to kind of keep up with because not only are we learning about this new Superman, but we're also learning about this world and these characters. And but at the end of the day, I had a lot of fun with this movie.
Yeah.
Like, there's
Yeah.
not a lot of, like, films that I've seen this summer that I can walk out with, like, "That was a
Yeah.
great time." Like,
Also, we forgot to mention, we officially got the Hall of Justice
Yeah.
in a live action film.
Yeah.
yes, yes. I don't know why Zack Snyder took that out, but here we
Yeah.
are. Uh, but but yeah, I think, like, out of all the movies I've seen this summer so far, I had a lot of fun with this one. I had a lot of fun watching F1. Like, F1, we reviewed very highly. It was just a great, like, high
Mhm.
octane, like,
I need
summer
to go see it. I
blockbuster
heard
movie.
wonderful things about it.
Oh, you
Yeah.
gotta go watch it.
Yeah, you need to go
Yeah.
see that.
You have to see it. But I think this movie was like for me was a close second of like me just having a good time in the theater. Like
Yeah.
no matter what, even the action is great.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
in this movie, like him fighting all these other people, like all these kaiju's and these monsters, and like the interactions that he's having. It's like him saving all these people in the midst of him like just punching things, and then you're cutting him into like these like really hyper focused, like flying scenes, and he just like bam, and then you see the other people. Also, another great moment in the movie that I forgot to mention was like him and Lois are trying to have a serious conversation, yet we have the Justice Gang in the background is like fighting like this big
Yeah.
one-eyed monster, and she was like, "You're gonna take care of that?" Like,
No, they got
no,
it.
it's like, yeah, they got it. It's like a level one, whatever. They can take care of it, and they're trying to have like a serious conversation, but but in a way, it's like you want to listen to what they're saying, but I keep getting distracted by whatever's
Yeah.
happening in the background. And it's just another like James
Like a
Gunn moment.
comic.
Yeah. Ernesto over here. I keep telling you.
I keep telling you, it's like a comic
It's
book,
like-
but y'all
it's
don't wanna
like-
listen to me.
It's like this guy reads comics or something. I don't know.
I don't know. Call me old school, but this guy's picked up a comic or two.
It's almost like the guy read comics before he made the movie about the character who the comics are based off of. Who'd have thought? Radical
Who
idea.
would have thought? Who would have thought?
'Cause you know what? You make a funny point because there are a lot of directors who's like, "Oh yeah, I never picked up the comic."
Yeah, there's a compilation online you can just search for it that has like it's Marvel, mainly Marvel directors, but even some DC that are like, oh yeah, we didn't read the comics. Like what the fuck?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
You literally have a stack of knowledge that will tell you, hey, this is what you need to do for this person who you're making a movie about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You have
no kidding.
access to
What-
every single version, every single one.
Wild
just
idea.
for the-
What a
Yeah.
wild concept.
Now I want my Spider-Man to be new.
Nah, he doesn't need web shooters. He has organic webs.
Listen,
now
the
I
web's
get 'em.
not gonna come from his hands anymore.
Yeah.
He's gonna find something else.
Wild idea to come out of his toes.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But there we go. That we gave you a full, I don't know, probably 2 hours worth of our spoiler review of Superman. Easy to say we all enjoyed the movie. 5 out of 5 out of here for box office bingers. Steph, thank you for coming on the show
Yeah.
yet again.
Of course. Thank you.
I mean, every time we got a big DC movie, he's like, we got to get Steph on.
He's gotta be here. He's just
Gotta be
gotta.
here. He's got to be here.
He has thoughts, we know it. If you want more from us, you can always follow us on all of our social media channels on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok at Box Office Bingers, our X and Letterboxd page at Box Office Binger, and our Threads and Instagram page at box_office_bingers. The fun doesn't stop here. It continues on all of our social media channels. So be sure to give each one of those a follow. Every Friday, we'll tell you what's new to streaming, and every Sunday, we'll give you the box office numbers, in addition to all the entertainment news, our movie reviews, and all the other fun stuff that we have on all of our other social media channels. So be sure, again, to give each one of those a follow. Next time you hear from us, we're going to be talking about Fantastic Four.
Oh, absolutely.
From one superhero movie to the
Exciting.
next. From DC to Marvel.
Hey,
Two
Age-old
houses.
story. DC houses.
he's on fire. She's invisible. He's got long arms.
And Rock.
He's a rock.
He's a thing. Who knows? I don't know.
Who knows?
There's a girl on a surfboard. She's silver. We don't know who she is.
We don't know. Here's this big guy. He has a big foot stepping
Yeah.
on planets.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's gotta be nuts.
We'll
It's
see.
gotta be nuts.
Although you already know, actual Uncle Rogers around are gonna go this next week and watch Fantastic Four. Be like, so when Superman show up?
Ah, where's that terrific guy?
Wait, I thought we were seeing Superman again. What do you
Yeah.
mean we're seeing another Superman?
What is this one? This is crazy.
Who's that?
This is- That being said, I'm very much looking forward to Fantastic
am I.
Four. This one is the highly anticipated movie for me of the year, with Superman being a close second. So we'll see how it holds up. Next week, we're going to have that conversation on how the movie is, and then a classic DC Marvel talk. So be sure to come back next week for that conversation and all of the other movie fun. We'd like to thank each and every one of you for listening to us just talk about movies. We really do appreciate it. Come back next week for more movie fun. You're not going to regret it. And for that, I've been your host, Matt Diaz.
Ernesto Santos. See ya.